here. It's big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hansen, and tonight I am joined by the poker babe, Shirley Rosario, and we are doing our $5,100 no-limit hold'em game, Whale Night, sponsored by Poker Blue. The blinds for this game, of course, $5,100, and the rebuy structure is you can buy in $5,000 the first time. You start with 5. And then you can rebuy for 5, and then you can rebuy for 10, and then 20, and every subsequent time you can rebuy for 20. So usually this game's been going for about an hour now, and we've got some pretty big name players on the table: Tuan Le, Hassan Habib, Tim Fan, and others.
Right.
So without further ado, let's get to the action, and we are going to go around and introduce the table.
Okay, in seat number 1 we have Ken Berg. In seat 2, we have Loy Tran. Seat 3, Yosh Nakano. Seat 4 is Hassan Habib. Seat 5 is Tuan Le. Seat 6, Bruce Parker. He's not there. Seat 7, Frank Hong. Seat 8 is Tim Fan. And Pat Rayo is in seat 9.
There we go. So we got a couple of whales in the game and a couple of professional players.
Right.
And the white chips in this game are $100 chips. The green chips are $1,000 chips. And if you see purples, they're $5,000 chips. Going to get into the first hand of the night here. Looks like it's a queen 10-6 here on the flop. Turn is a 9.
That gives Tim 2 pair.
Yeah, it looks like Tim's got 2 pair there in seat 8. And Tim is going to push here. Turns on 9. Yoshi's got a flush draw there. Looks like Tim might have pushed for maybe $4,000 or so. And Tim is going to take it down there.
Take it, bully. Clinic, boys. Clinic, huh?
There we go.
Big collection pot. Set of queens. Those are hard to play. Collection pot.
Okay, so Tim takes down the first hand of the night. If you want to follow a thread started on the internet, become interactive with us, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments. The official Live at the Bike thread for September 28th. You can also email us at liveatthebike.com.
Yes.
Looks like that yellow disc is in play this hand, and that is a collection pot.
Right.
So whoever wins the hand, if it's over a certain amount, pays the collection, whatever it is here, whatever the half-hourly rate is. I'm not exactly sure what it is off the top of my head. But that's how they do the collection games here at the bike for the most part, collection pots. Right?
For the big games, not for the regular games.
Right, collection games, maybe not like an 8160. I still think they do collection pots for those games, though, too. For the games that are collection games, I think they do a collection pot here. Here we go, a couple limps.
5 players.
And there's five-way action here limped around. Jack 4-8 on the flop. Tim Fan's going to bet here. Doesn't have anything.
What is it? King high
10.
here, yeah.
Tuan has a jack. He's got a weak jack from up front. He's going to call. $400 bet there on the flop on a call. Turn is a 6. Tuan's going to check. And it's a $400 bet and a call again. So now we're looking at about a $2,000 pot. The river's a 10, and that gives Tim Fan the best hand.
They both check.
And
No,
it's
it doesn't.
going to get, excuse me, he gives him a pair. You're right.
Yeah, Tuan still has better pair.
Tuan's got the better hand. But Tim didn't bet it, hoping to win it in a showdown.
Right.
Check at the end. And Tuan Lee takes it down. Of course, Frank Hong there and drinking some wine in seat number 7. Yosh Nakano in seat 3. Loy Tran, all professionals. Kenny Berg there, former owner of the Kookaroo Chicken in seat 1.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the usual suspects here. Bruce Parker, former vice president of sales for Callaway Golf, I believe.
We got red wine and everything else. All right. 4 players.
Okay, limped pot here.
Yep.
3-way action.
4 people in
Four
there.
players.
Yep. Ace, Queen, 5, a couple of clubs. A couple people have weak aces, Ace 6 and Ace 9, and seat 4 has got a flush draw. And Hassan's going to come out and he's going to bet 300. Bruce Parker calls, and Fan's going to raise it up with the Ace 9. He has the best hand. He's going to make it 1,000 more to go. And Hassan quickly calls with the flush draw, and Bruce Parker is wisely out. Got about a $2,800 pot. There's the flush card on the turn. Hassan's got a made hand, and Hassan checks.
I don't think Tim will bite. He checks.
Yep, he's going to check right behind him, and a 4th club comes out on the river. Now it's a question, does Hassan know his hand's
Hassan
good?
still bet here.
He's going to bet 2,000. And there isn't a whole lot that Tim can beat out here. He does not have a club in his hand. It's also a 4 card to a straight there. A deuce would
If
be a
someone had
straight.
deuce.
Yep. And he's going to fold. And Hassan takes it down.
I mean, he looks a little frustrated, but he played it well. Tim did. He raised when he had the best hand. He checked when he had the worst hand. He folded like he should. He didn't stick any extra money in that pot that, he shouldn't have.
I'll throw something out there for you strategy-wise. Sometimes I'll bet on the turn with that hand if I don't have a high club in my hand, like Tim Fan had. And then if I get check raised, well, now I know I'm no good. Whereas if you do have a club draw as well, you can actually check behind the person and then decide what's going to happen on the river.
500.
Yeah, I mean, someone calls, you can't automatically assume that they have a flush. I think that,
Right.
that Tim has played with Hassan quite a bit. He probably put him on something to that effect, I would imagine.
Tim Fan has raised here, ace 10 of clubs.
And seat 1 just called. He has ace-king.
Yep, Kenny
Ace
Berg.
king suited.
Yeah, we got 2 ace kings in there. Ace king off, ace king suited, and ace 10 of clubs. And Tim Fan is the original raiser here. I believe that there was a re-raise there by someone.
I think it's probably Bruce out of the blind. Bruce raised out of the blind.
Okay, so he raised another 1,000 or so? Oh, look at that. The case ace comes on the flop, and it gives Tim 2 pair. Oh, this is going to be a huge pot. It's already about a $3,500 pot.
Players over here. What are you going to do, Kenny?
And Tim is going to move all in. It looked like Bruce bet,
And I don't think either player's going to get away from their ace-king here.
and Kenny Berg is called.
Right.
And I think Bruce Parker is called
He
as
probably
well.
overcalled.
We're looking at a $7,000 to $8,000 pot here. The turn is a 4. No one has a heart in their hand. And the river's a 5. And ace 10 by Tim Fan is going to take it all.
58. I'm going to take money out of my pocket. Oh, the game is on now. Game is on. Yeah, it's all right.
That's a nice pot, Tim. Yeah, extremely lucky there.
Let's play Mississippi Straddle. How your hands coming?
And yeah, Tim takes down about a $7,000 or $8,000 pot.
You lost with it? I need it back. Chips. Chips.
Wow, right off the bat, $7,000 or $8,000 there.
With your least favorite hand, ace 10.
Yeah. Well, he brought it in for a
It
raise.
worked on this one.
Yeah. Button's over there in seat 5. Juan Lee with the button.
Two players.
Pot is limped around here. Looks like it's just between the blinds. Deuce 5 and 7-9 of clubs. And Bruce has a pair.
Yeah, it's not a bad flop for either of
Pair
them.
and a straight draw.
Frank has the double gutter there. Bruce has a pair and a gut shot.
And he bets, and Frank Hahn immediately does not want to get involved. Bruce is going to take it down.
He won. He just threw away his first. How can that be? It took too long. So I figured out. Play nice now, okay, guys? I got everybody covered. We'll commentate. We're coming after you.
So Bruce Parker, Mr. Callaway, has the button over there in seat 6. Going to be letting you guys know about some exciting things that have been going on with Poker Blue and their free roll. Some things that live at the bike viewers will get a special chance to, if they play the free roll, get a chance to play in this whale game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
More players.
Got a $300 raise there by Tuan. He made it 300 to go with, looks like Jack 7 offsuit. Here comes the flop, Ace, Queen 10.
Ace 10 beats Ace King every time.
And Tim Fan's going to bet here with the weak ace. Tuan quickly calls with the gut shot. It's like a $500 bet and a call. So the pot now is about $2,500. Turn is a 6. Tim still has the best hand with the weak ace.
Chips.
And he bets 500 into a $2,500 pot there. And Tuan gets out. Wow. Shows the ace. Tim Fan takes it down.
I'm playing 5,000.
I'm sure these, of course, Tuan Lee and Tim Fan very, very familiar with each other.
Yes. Not only in this big game, but also in tournaments, too. Both of them are very accomplished tournament players.
They've been at a couple final tables together, most recently at Foxwoods, right? WPT finals. $400 raise there, pocket nines.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I think Tuan won the Foxwoods event, and Hassan was at the final table with him.
Yeah, but we were talking about Tim Fan. I don't remember him being at the final table.
Get your hand up.
Okay. Well, Hassan.
Ace Jack against pocket nines here. And Frank has hit top pair.
900.
Ooh, a bet and a call. $900 bet and a call there by Loy, and Loy's in trouble. King on the turn. That might get Loy out of the hand now. And it does. Frank actually had the ace of spades in his hand as well.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of an action killer there for Frank when the king came there on the turn.
I don't know about a million. I think I would have folded Kenny's pot.
Tim has the button in his hand.
You're talking pre-flop. You're talking pre-flop. He's talking post-flop.
So we get word that Hassan Habib is going to be in the booth here sometime tonight. He's going to talk a little bit more about the Poker Blue promotions. $300 there from seat 4. King 9 of diamonds. And doesn't look like he's going to get any action here.
See,
and
one's
Ken,
calling.
Yeah,
He's-
Ken Berg's
yeah,
got
he's
it,
playing behind, so
He's
they
got-
put the 300 in front of him.
Ace 3 offsuit, and Hassan with the king 9 of diamonds picks up a flush draw. Deuce 4 queen, couple of diamonds. Goes check, check. Turns a queen. Check, check again. And the river is a 9, and that gives Hassan the best hand. And he's going to bet here. And we talk about what happened over the last couple of weeks. A lot of value betting by the pros against the whales. Now, we actually saw Ken make a couple calls with ace high last week. Well, this time he lays it down. But it's very interesting to see that the professionals would value bet, not necessarily even top pair, but whenever they thought they had the best hand, they would value bet on the river.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, pick up, say, $500, $600, $700
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
extra.
Because Holly outsources that, I think.
Yeah, been looking for a designer forever. It's been like, what do you do on sports issue?
Again, this is a form of restricted buy-in, no limit hold'em.
Not the graphic design.
As Bruce Parker brings this one in for a raise with king queen suited. Kenny Berg's got ace queen over there. He's got 5,000 behind, so he's made his first rebuy. He's called, and Loy's called with pocket deuces. Ace 3, 8. Ken Berg's got the best hand, and it gets checked around. Bruce does not bet. Turns a 5.
800.
And Kenny Berg is going to bet $800 here. Well, like Barry Greenstock was talking about how Kenny Berg likes to trap a lot. Maybe he was going to go for the check raise there on the flop.
Mm-hmm.
So restricted by no limit game. You and I played this game a lot, not this at
Well,
this level,
not yet.
but
A restricted game, just a lot lower limits.
But in reality or in theory, it really should play the same way, though. Now, this one's added a little twist because you can rebuy for so much more as you keep going out. But normally, it's almost correct to play ABC when you're short stacked because you are inherently short stacked in the beginning. Or you really have to watch the other people's chip stacks.
It's a lot different than what we play, though. I mean, because if they can buy in for 5,000, you know, they have 500 times the big blind. We don't get that when we're playing. We get 100 times the big blind and 3 to 5.
It's 50 times the big blind. That's right. It's 50 times. The big blind's 100. So in essence, it is kind of the same game in the beginning.
It's 100. Okay. They get 50 times the
Yes.
big blind. And we get, when we're playing our game,
You actually get 100 in the 3 to 5 game, but in the 3-5 game with the 200, you get about 40 times the big blind to start. This one looks like it got checked around there, and the turn is a 10, and that gives Tim Fan trip 10s. And he checked it again. He checked it twice. Wow. So he checked it on the flop, checked it on the turn, and now he's going to bet the river.
1400. I might put you all in.
And Ken just looks like he's got king high, and he's not going to
I
call.
might put you all in at
All
another
in.
time.
What's the word all in?
Kim shows the 7.
Of course. I mean, obviously, as this night goes along further, and they start to have chips, then you can start to mix it up a little bit. But I mean, kind of at the beginning, it is kind of the same theory. You can't be calling big raises with, say, drawing hands necessarily, like a suited connector. When you only have 5,000, you want to call a raise that's 5 or 6 times the big blind to begin. First straddle of the night there by Bruce Parker. So it is 200 to call. And we've got 4-way action, so it's an $800 pot. Looks like Frank Hong just limped in there with the ace-queen in first position. And Bruce has picked up top pair, and he's going to bet, and he's in trouble. He bets 600. Let's see what Frank Hong does here.
Bruce has picked up top pair.
Yep. And Frank Hong is going to raise. He's going to make it 1,200 to go.
That's something wrong.
And then Bruce mucks the ace-9.
Well, he doesn't have anything.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm just trying to figure out what you're looking at. I'm like, am I
he was
looking at
making
cards
the
wrong?
bluff. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He is betting ace high.
Betting ace high, and he mucks. See, she's here to correct me sometimes.
We know what we're doing, see?
not going to be a lottery.
Oh, look at this. We get an email here from someone in Spain.
He's going to buy the
Guillermo
Oh, okay.
said he wanted to say hi from
I actually want to get an
Bilbao, Spain. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Enjoys
Bilbao?
watching Bilbao, Spain.
I would,
Bilbo.
I would say Bilbao. Is how I would say it.
Bilbao. There we go. Says I enjoy watching the bike when I play online and going to try to make my way to Vegas. Well, thanks very much for the warm words there. Three-way action here. Wow, nice flop for Hassan. Flush draw, top pair. And he's going to take it down with a $400 bet. Seems like the table's kind of tight so far tonight. Players feeling each other out. We've seen some big pots over the last couple of weeks in this game. Frank Mariani stuck out for the tune of about $35,000 last week on a couple of big hands. Got a limper there. Tim Fan's coming in with Queen 8 of clubs. Kenny Berg's going to limp in with Ace Queen. And 3 of the queens are dead. 5-way action, $500 pot. And there's the case
There's the queen.
Queen 8, Queen Jack, and Ace Queen. This is going to be interesting. And Hassan has a flush draw on the button. Ken Berg's bet 600 here with Ace Queen. Hassan quickly calls. Antoine has a gut shot to a 6. He's going to fold. Bruce Parker calls with Queen Jack. And the action's over to Tim with the worst queen. And he's going to make the call. So we got about a $2,500 pot. The turn is an 8, and Tim Fan has picked up 2 pair.
I feel like I have a bullet. Bullseye.
all in.
And he's checked it, and Kenny Berg is going to push all in for looks like 4,000. Hassan mucks the flush draw. Now Bruce Parker, about 4,500 actually, and Bruce Parker's got Queen Jack. The pot is now 7,000, 4,500 to call, and obviously Tim Fan is still in the hand with Queen 8 over there in seat 8. And I would think surely that's going to be an instant call from him.
Yeah, I would think so. I think he called on the turn hoping to hit the 8, so
Yeah.
see what he does.
And there you go. He makes the call. Ken's going to need to catch an ace here. And the river is a deuce. And Tim Fan's going to take it down with top 2. And that's about a $12,000 pot. Wow. There's the board. Good lay down there by Bruce Parker, knowing that Queen Jack was no good.
Yes.
The other thing that's pretty common in this game is usually when you see some of the whales bet, they normally have the goods. I haven't seen Ken Berg bluff a lot.
No, that was a lot of money to bet tonight, don't you think?
Yeah.
The pot certainly wasn't $4,500.
Yep. So after this hand, I'm going to go a little bit into the promotion for Poker Blue. Of course, if you play on Poker Blue for more than 4 hours, any 1-2 limit hold'em game or any no-limit game, you qualify for the free roll. It's held on Sundays. It's your choice of upcoming WPT event, the main event, $10,000 plus $2,000 in travel and expenses, or the 2006 World Series of Poker. If you are a Live at the Bike viewer and use the code BIKE when you deposit money, if you win the free roll, they will set you up and you can play in this whale game. I think they're either giving $5,000 or $10,000 away to play in the whale game. So there you go. Looks like the pot gets checked around here. And Bruce has hit trip jacks now. And he checks it from up front. Yosh bets 300 now. Yosh checked the ace on the flop in position. And now Bruce has got trip jacks. He just calls. Wow. Just going to make the call. And the river's a 7.
Another 15. I'll put it in.
He does exactly.
And now he's going to bet, which always is a little bit fishy.
Right.
The check call bet on the river. Looks like it's a $600 bet. So the pot is about $1,800, I want to say, or excuse me, $1,200. It's $600 for Yosh to call. And Yosh cannot beat a bigger ace here. If someone had an ace with a higher kicker than 7, and Yosh wisely lays it down, he could lay down there by Yosh.
He probably thought it was kind of fishy as well.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's
You
difficult.
talk about that a lot, you know, that you just flat call and then bet out. It just
Well, it's difficult
doesn't make sense.
difficult to slow play when you're out of position. Now,
Right.
it's different if someone comes betting into you on the turn or someone check raises you on the turn,
Mm-hmm.
because now you can let them try to bluff at it at the river. But when you're out of
Right.
position, what are you going to do? Check call and bet on the turn and bet on the river, which is exactly what happened.
Right.
And Yosh did not pay him off. So then again, Yosh probably wouldn't have called a check raise either. So the hand probably would have played out the same way.
in this instance. But if Yosh had a flush draw,
Right.
you know, he would have called.
Probably not, but
Got a couple of limbers here. And Tim Fan is going to raise out of the blind with ace-10 offsuit. And we are heads up. Tim Fan and Tuan Lee. About a $1,200 pot, and Tuan Lee has hit the jack. And Tim Fan has got ace-10. And he's going to check, and Tuan's going to bet.
2,400.
He bets 2,400.
You know what? Online,
And he's actually all in for 2,400.
all the time.
well, yeah, I was
Yours,
saying.
mine.
Tim shows the ace-10.
We see double number of hands.
And it looks like he's going to muck, and he does.
That's what I would do. I like it.
So again, it's one of the best deals going on the internet, Joey. It's
I would have figured that right away. That's what I
4 hours of low limit play. In essence, 1, 2, or higher gets you into the free roll. And I played in the free roll this past week. A couple people said hi to me. Pretty good deal. Your choice of WPT event or World Series of Poker event. And
Anybody here like Neil Diamond?
if you type in bike when you deposit money, you get a chance of playing this game as well if you win the free roll. So a
I
little-
wonder, do you have to use a 5,000 to play in this game?
I think you probably do.
Yeah,
that would make
probably.
sense.
That's what I would think. But man, I'd want to pocket the $5,000.
You wouldn't want to try to wing it in this game?
Jack 9-4, 3
Well, okay.
You'd rather-
Yeah, you
you'd
know
rather-
what? I don't know.
you'd ra-
5,000's guaranteed.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, you could sit in here and. What,
Yeah,
did,
exactly.
what did Frank Mariani win last week? Like $27,000?
Yeah. And again, I don't specifically know what the regulations are. We'll hear about that more in the show, how long you'd have to play on the game, and all that. But I'd definitely rather have that than nothing. That's for sure.
Right.
And hey, you got an advantage over these players. You've been watching them the whole time.
That's true. I've been watching them for, yeah.
And not just you, I mean, any people that watch the Live the Bike religiously.
Right.
Got a raise there by Frank Hong with 5-8 suited, and a couple people call with suited connectors. And Yosh has picked up a hand. He's got a pair and a flush draw. And Frank is going to bet on a pair of 5. And Tim calls. Is Tim trying to set a play up here with 9-10 of diamonds?
I have no idea.
He's going to call. He doesn't have a draw.
Oh, he has a pair draw.
Yeah, pair draw.
He doesn't know he has a pair draw, but we do.
And is Yosh check raising here? No, he just smooth calls. Wow.
Okay.
And actually, we're getting word that he is he is going to raise here.
No limit player like you, can you?
Yeah, there we go. 6,000. He's raised 6,000. I thought it was a little bit strange for him to flat call there. He's raised 6,000, and he's going to take it down.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry, Yosh. These are my hands. I gotta look. Do you see my hands? Do you see my hands? Yeah. You saw too? More than one. That's
So,
sure, huh?
obviously, it was pretty. Check raising there, very difficult to call without an ace.
Right.
Kind of sense no one had an ace there.
Well, even with an ace, if you have a weak ace,
Yeah.
you're not going to be calling that huge raise.
Yeah. Pair and a flush draw.
We're
Pocket
talking-
aces for
That's
seat
for
4.
Hassan.
Hassan.
See the report, you guys will really be stunned. You guys might
Looks like Tuan is limped in here with 10-8 of diamonds.
You made a good lay down or a bad lay
And
down?
Hassan is in the big blind with aces.
What do you got? Who's that? Him?
And Yosh has ace-queen, and he may raise here out of the small blind.
$100.
Looks like he's reaching for chips.
Put your money there. You got a lot of money.
Yeah, and he is going to raise surely. He makes it 700 now. If you're Hassan, is he going to play a trap game or is he going to pop him up? Tuan is in the hand.
Never can.
Looks like
He's
he is
raising.
going to re-raise. He has re-raised 1,400 more, and Yosh is in real bad shape. $700 raised there by Yosh out of the small blind. Hassan makes it 2,100 straight.
So far, it's thinking, wow, how do you do that on camera, huh?
Looks like Hassan's got about 7,000 or 8,000 in front of him. And Yosh probably has him just about covered, so fairly deep.
You're right. Right there.
And there you go, Yosh muffs. And Hassan takes it down there.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good poker instincts. Yosh knew that he didn't have the best hand there.
Right.
We've seen Hassan again over the last few weeks in this game. He plays it pretty straight up.
He does.
He really
or what
does.
we've seen,
yeah.
Maybe on the nights when he's not on the show, he's over there.
Yeah, and Barry
Going
Green,
wild.
and one of the other things that Barry Greenside said about Hassan was the way that he gets tricky is that he actually fast plays a lot, and people, he might bet out on trips or bet out or raise on a set, and people might not give him credit for it. And then when they come over the top of him with a draw or something, he can really punish him.
Stand back fighting.
Tuan Lee's picked up pocket nines in the big blind.
He's got a box full of He's got your money.
5 players.
He's going to check. Oh, excuse me. It's actually Bruce Parker. Bruce Parker limped in with pocket nines.
All right, well, whatever. He beat you.
And the flop comes Jack, 5 deuce.
I barely feel this guy. I was going to play 4
Loy's betting his opening straight draw there.
Yep, 3-4. Bruce Parker makes the check call with pocket nines. 3-4 against pocket nines. Ace here on the turn. That gives him the wheel. And Loy's going to bet here.
18.
It's like 1,800 on the turn. It would have been, obviously the ace is kind of an action killer up against pocket nines. Would have been better there for him to catch the 6, right? If Bruce thought his
I'm
hand
sure he
good.
was happy to hit the ace, though.
Yeah. Better win some money than lose,
Yeah.
right? Takes it down. And then, one of the interesting things about Hassan that can be said is also he plays, obviously he's a great tournament player, and he's known for his aggressive style in tournaments, and he kind of tones it down here in the cash games,
Right.
which we've seen not necessarily a lot of tournament players can make that transition to tone it down. 5-way action here, limped in. And Yosh has a weak ace, and he's checked it. And Hassan is going to bet here. It's like a little bit of a position bet with King 9, and Yosh is going to check raise him with the ace. And Hassan folds. And Yosh takes it down. We've seen Yosh do that twice now in late position. He had a weak ace, and he checked the flop when it came ace high.
Be a collection pot players. Collection pot.
Big blinds over there. Tim Fan in seat Frank Hong in seat 7.
500.
And Hassan's going to make it $500 to go with pocket threes. Tuan calls, Frank Hong calls, and we've got a 4-way pot, $2,000 in there. All clubs. 10, 9, 5. Tuan's got the highest club. And Hassan has checked his pocket threes. And it looks like Twan's going to bet here. He's got an open-ended straight draw and a club draw. He bets 800.
Oh, man. If I had the deuce of
Not the best flop for ace-6 of hearts over there in Yosh. And Hassan actually currently has the best hand. But with that huge draw, Twan's actually a favorite with 2 cards to come. And he's going to take it down. Over cards, open-ended straight draw,
We
club
saw
draw.
a deuce of clubs was coming.
So the flush would have gotten there.
Yes.
Yeah. Bruce Parker now has the button. Well, I'm certainly going to do that, Shirley. I don't know about you. Deposit some money.
I
type
don't
in.
usually play the tournaments on Sunday during the day. I just wait for the Omaha tournament at night. You know, I mean, I
Get a
have to have
chance to
some
play in
time to
the
go do
whale
something
game.
during the day, and that's usually my day to go do something. Although it's a good day to play online.
Absolutely. Big day. Type in bike when you're depositing money on Poker Blue. Play 4 hours of any limit game, 1, 2, or above, or any no-limit game. Qualify for the free roll. And if you hit first prize, you're going to get a seat into your choice of WPT events or the World Series of Poker, plus travel expenses, plus, if you're the live and bike viewer, a chance to play in this game. Or you will be put into this game. Look at this, Frank Hong. Wow, 26,000 in seat 7. He's by far the chip leader. And everyone else is kind of kicking around there in the mid-thousands. So we'll see how these numbers change over the course of the night.
1,200.
Bruce Parker is going to raise here with ace-jack of hearts, 400. And Frank Hong comes over the top with pocket 5s. Twan calls. It's a $1,200 re-raise. Twan calls with pocket deuces. Parker's got ace-jack suited. And Frank's got pocket 5s. And Parker picks up the best hand. Ace-4, 8 of diamonds.
Yeah, but what about USC?
Check, check. And Bruce is going to bet. And they quickly fold. And that's a $3,600 pot right there.
Okay. I was kind of wondering myself how Frank had so much money. His chips look a little short. Tim Fan's been the one that's winning. I believe that it's
Tim Fan's the one.
he is the one that has the
that make a lot of sense. But I thought
$27,000.
maybe Frank had some greens there.
Yeah, and he has a big. It looks like some chips on the backside. Whereas over here we just have hundreds and I see blues. And move your arm. Move your arm.
Raise to 300.
So it's Tim Fan is the one that's crushing the game.
He's the one that's he's the one that's been doing so well.
900.
Pocket kings.
Yep. And Hassan came in for a raise with Jack 9.
And then Frank.
Twan
raised.
called with 8-9, and Frank has re-raised with pocket kings. And they all
They
call.
both call.
3, 4, 5, all diamonds. Frank has the king of diamonds in his hand, and he's going to push forward. Looks like he's pushing all in.
Pushing all in.
Yeah, 2,700 more. And no one can call there. And he takes it down. Well, we've seen Twan come in with a lot of hands so far. He played it, I think, a little bit tighter the last time he was on the show. But he just called a big re-raise there with pocket deuces. Just came in with a, from a big re-raise there with 8-9. And this is what we talk about in the restricted buy-in, no limit
There
game.
we go. We can see his chips. We can see it. The purple is what? 1,000 you said, right?
5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
So he has about 9,000 in front
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah. Anyways, calling the re-raise 1,200. And I was going to say, you have to pay attention to how much money Frank has as well
As what you have in front of you.
Yeah. If Frank only has, 3,000 behind, you probably don't necessarily want to come in with a call with
They
8.
gotta be unhappy with that. What's that? They told me they're gonna sign 800,000. What?
Here we go. Another
They're
hand
gonna sign 800,000.
gets checked around on the flop.
They're gonna have 1 million people.
10 of hearts.
800,000.
And that gives Hassan a straight and a flush draw. With the straight flush draw.
Right.
He bets 300.
Nobody has anything.
Yep.
8,000 people.
He's got a perfect card. 8, 9 of hearts to come on the turn. And he takes it down. So again, the white chips are $100 chips. The purples are $25 chips. If you see browns, they're $500 chips. And the greens are $1,000 chips. So Whites are 100, browns are 500, greens are 1,000, and purples are 5,000.
When we get the other 2,000 numbers.
And a stack is normally 20 chips, so a stack of white is 2,000.
2,000.
Yeah.
400.
Here we go. Kinberg has a huge hand. He races to 4.
Yep.
400 with pocket aces.
Yosh is going to call with pocket 4s.
No wonder they would turn.
Ken hasn't been doing well. Hopefully won't catch a flop with the 4 on it.
Jack, 5 deuce, couple of clubs. Yosh is going to check, and Ken's going to bet. He's going to bet 700.
700.
And if Yosh makes a move here, he's going to get caught. Let's see if he gets involved. Nope. And once again, we see Yosh make the right laydown. Guy's got some great poker instincts. And him and Ken Berg have been playing for
For a long time,
long
yes.
time. Ken Berg's a regular here in the high limit mixed game. And someone was asking a question about if Poker Blue has rake back. Not necessarily sure about that, but they do give the deal that full $600 100% deposit bonus, similar to Full Tilt. So that was a question there by Bumblebee Rick on 2+2. And it's released into your account incrementally as you pass those.
Most of them are, yeah.
Yeah, those raked hand thresholds.
Can you see what the girls are like? If he wants to watch the
Yosh has raised here with ace-6 of clubs, and Hassan is re-raised. We can't see what he has. Pocket 4s. He's come over the top with pocket 4s. He makes it 1,000 more to go. And the action's back over to Yosh. And Yosh is not going to get involved. And Hassan takes it down.
You want to see it, Josh? Okay.
No.
There you go.
I know.
Well, if he's going to come over the top of you with pocket 4s, and we've seen him come over the top in the small blind with pocket aces as well. So,
Right.
you know,
Okay.
obviously he knows where he's at. Very aggressive. Difficult to kind of put him on a hand. That's what I was saying, the thing about the pros versus the whales, that we saw a lot of value betting by the pros against the whales. Because they almost sense that they really know where they're at. And sometimes the whales will pay them off with something as weak as bottom pair or ace high.
Right.
Winner of the collection pot goes not out of the question. Yes. Both these players do.
Juan Lee's got the button.
Thank you, buddy.
You got a couple of good situations, Ace 10 against Ace King.
So we had an email here by Kevin. Says he's hot, says hello, and he enjoys watching the bike, and he wondered what that thing in the center of the table was, and that is the card shuffler. Not a card holder, it actually shuffles the cards. The shuffle master in the middle of the table.
Wow, a lot of big hands.
Yeah. Bruce Parker, pocket
Pocket
kings
kings.
in the small blind.
Yeah, that's right. I had a king.
Ace Jack suited, it looks like, over there for Ken Berg. And he's going to bring it in for 400.
That hand, I don't know. Oh, I did have a king. That's right. Yes.
Let's see if Parker re-raises here.
Didn't have ace king, dude?
He's going to raise it up. He makes it 1,200 to go, $800 raise. And Kenny quickly calls. He's got about a $2,600 pot to the flop. Ace Jack against pocket kings.
Oh,
Oh, ace 3 ace.
and you said this qualifies as a jackpot, right?
It
So
does.
another
This is a
ace?
jackpot game if it's another ace.
One more ace.
It's a $500 bet. And look at this. Bruce is going to check raise here with his kings. He's going to check raise Ken with the kings. And Ken's going to move all in. Now, actually, Frank Hong actually had the other ace.
Did someone throw
Yeah.
it? Fold it? Yeah.
Yeah. And Bruce calls. Turn is a 6, river's a 5. And Ace Jack is going to take it all there. I mean, that was another 4,000 there all in from Kenny Berg. And Wow.
Let me do it like this.
Yep, 41.
That's about a $12,000 or $13,000 pot right there.
Give me cash. Go ahead and deal.
Wow.
Nice hand. I didn't believe you.
And he's actually going to pay him in cash to keep the chips on the table. There you go.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Going to pay him in cash.
Then you don't have to go. Yeah.
But the thing is that you want, well, I don't know if these guys, I mean, they don't normally let money play in a jackpot game. They might make a special exception for this game in the jackpot portion of the game. So you want the chips on the table. So let's see them keep them there.
Because
Okay, they're just going to change it up anyways.
Yeah. I know in the 500 they used to be able to. Since they changed the 500 to a jackpot,
Right.
then the cash had to come off. I
Yeah.
mean, no cash.
They don't like cash on the table in a jackpot game because we do that $1 million promotion during the Hold'em periods. Yeah, and then, of course this game is straight Hold'em.
Right.
Raise.
Seat 4 there, Hassan. He's going to raise to 400 with Ace Queen of Clubs.
12 total.
And Frank Hong is going to come over the top in the small blind with pocket tens. He made it 1,200 to go. Wow, and both players call. So, $3,600 pot to the flop. Oh, pocket tens is good right now. Frank's got the overpair.
Betting 3,000.
And the pot's 3,600. And he reaches for chips and everyone folds.
Thank you.
He takes it down.
What do you have, Frank?
I'm going to commentate with you one more hand, and we have a special guest, Mel Judah, coming in to take my spot with you, Bart.
When I had the queen, right?
When I had the queen,
Oh, Mel Judah definitely familiar with some of these guys here at the table.
Yes. Probably more so with the tournament players like Tuan, Hassan, and Tim Fan is what probably who I think he's most familiar with. But I'm sure that he'll make it clear.
Pretty sure I'm raising. How much did it matter what I had?
Got a raise there by Tim Fan. He's back in the game.
Okay, well, I'm going to step
Gonna
out.
take the blinds.
Mel's going to step in,
Great.
and I'll be back in a little while.
So the button has moved over there to seat 8. Tim Fan.
Don't use your phone at the table.
Seat 5 is limped in. And Mel Judah's going to join us in the booth. How you doing tonight, Mel?
Sure.
4 players.
I can't hear. It's nice to be on.
There you
It's,
go.
some of these players that I know personally, so
Yep.
it'd be nice to see how they play in a cash game compared to a tournament,
Let me confirm.
Absolutely.
because it's totally different.
Check.
Loy's got a flush draw here.
So their styles will be totally different from a tournament play.
Have you played any of these guys in high-level cash games before?
In the past,
Yeah.
not lately, because they play a lot higher.
Yeah. Ken check called there on the flop, and now he's going to bet the turn with a pair of threes. And Loy calls. Loy's got a pair of sevens now, and he has the best hand. And there's the flush. Loy's made the nut flush and continues to fire. He's going to bet 600. See if Loy raises it up here.
I think he's just going to call him. He's raising.
Oh, he's going to raise. Makes it 1,000 to go.
He obviously knows his style of play to make that play.
Well, of course, the board is paired, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
He has enough flush, so
Yeah. And he takes it down there, and Ken does not pay him off at the end.
Thank you.
So you're more familiar with these guys in terms of tournament play. You know, the very aggressive styles of Tuan Lee, Hassan Habib. Obviously, you're familiar with Tim Fan as well.
Tim Fan,
Yeah.
Yosh Kitano, yeah. Even seat 1 and 2, I played it with them across the table somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. But these are all very good players, so they can all play. It's not a question of... I think they're all very cautious.
Looks like it's going to get folded around to Ken Berg. And he's going to limp in with pocket 8s on the button. And Yosh, he's in the big blind. He's going to raise it up. You're going to see what he's got there.
That's a rumor.
He actually thinks he's got the best hand by the other guy limping in. So,
He's got 6-3 offsuit, so he's made a move. And Kenny's got the best hand. So 6-3 against pocket 8s. 9-10-4.
Yosh is going to get himself in trouble here because he's going to have to bet it. He's just hoping the other guy will pass his hand.
Oh, he checks it.
That's surprising.
Let's see what Ken... And Ken checks right behind him. Wow. Turn is a jack. Now it gives Ken an open-ended straight draw, but it's another overcard. He's staring at 3 overcards on board. And it goes check, check. And Yosh, I think, has just given up on the hand. Now he's got a pair. Yeah, and it just gets checked down all the way there.
Yosh gave up the pot. If he bet it, he probably would have taken the pot down.
Well, it would have put Ken in a tough spot there.
Well, if Yosh had bet on the turn when the jack came, he probably would have won the pot. But he's not to know that the guy has missed his hand with that turn card because it's a dangerous flop for his hand.
Now, I always find it interesting, and I say every week here, that this game, restricted no-limit cash game, it is a game that's relatively new in the poker world. Really only been spread in casinos for about 2.5 years tops. And normally these guys don't play no-limit hold'em cash games. And if they do, it's not normally of this variety with the restricted buy-ins. So, you know, strategy changes when you're always on a short stack in a cash game. And it's interesting to see them, you know, either make the right or wrong adjustment in these games.
Well, most of them won't play with such a good lineup. They rather play with somebody that is got lesser talent, so there's more action in the game. This way, it's pretty tight.
Right, you don't want to necessarily... I think the idea of the game is not to, you know, have everyone lose money real quick, so they try to cap the...
I mean, you don't have to play hands in a cash game like you do in a tournament.
Right.
You're not forced to do anything. So you got all the time in the world to play the hands you pick.
Seat 6 is going to straddle here. So we've got 200 to call, Bruce Parker.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a very good hand in the straddle spot. He's got Jack Deuce.
Why is that guy in seat 8 taking
Tim Phan's going to call with King 4. Yosh is going to limp in there. Looks like Queen 10 over there on the button.
Yeah. Seat 5 looks like a Queen Jack or 2 queens, isn't it?
Yeah, Twan. Hassan limps in with a weak ace in the small blind.
Wow.
And Twan's going to raise. We know we can see 1 queen. Yeah, he's got pocket queens. Pocket queens, and he's going to raise it up to 800.
I think he was going to pass this
Yep,
hand.
and he takes it down. Well, another thing that we notice about Twan, and one of the reasons why I love his style, is that you know, he'll drive at you in his aggressive nature with good hands as well as bad hands. You know, he's not going to slow play his bad hands. You know, he came over the top of someone last week at ace-3. The guy re-raised him, he folded. Well, he did the same thing with aces, and he got paid off to the tune of $8,000 or $10,000.
Well, he's the sort of player that will get paid off because everyone thinks he's at it. So,
They don't believe him, right?
but in a cash game, it'll be different. They'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Queen Jack of Diamonds, seat 3.
Yep, Yosh is going to make it 400 to go.
Yeah. And seat 7 is going to play the 7 Jack 10 of clubs.
And Bruce there in the big blind with the Jack 10. And Bruce is dominated. About a $900 pot. Let's see if Yosh continues to bet here. Yeah. Should take this one down right here.
800 is the bet.
Well, we haven't seen Bruce really make a move.
He might be thinking about it.
Nope,
That's fast.
gonna muck it. Well, he just took a beat there by check raising Ken Berg with 3 aces when he had kings, so He might be deciding to lay back a little bit.
Still thinking about that?
And now the button is in seat 5.
Actually, one of the guys I know said it's totally worth it. He says he learned a lot.
In seat 9 there,
Not his hand.
Pat. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just come into the game. He's been out for almost 45 minutes. Come back to the game. Kenny Berg has limped in with a weak ace. Twan is raised. $300. Jack 9.
Heads up.
And Ken's in there. We're heads up. And Ken's got a piece of this. He's got a pair of 7s, but wow, Twan checks right behind him. The turn's a deuce. Again, it's
Well,
about
he's
an
picked up a flush draw.
$800 pot. Twan bets 300 and Kenny calls. And the river is a 6.
Uh,
And it's a 6 of hearts. And
Yeah.
Twan just gives up, it looks like.
Yeah, he knew he was going to call him because he knows he's missed the flop and he's put him on a draw. I think he would have called any bet there.
Well, he did check the flop, bet the turn, Ken called, and then it just went check, check there on the river.
It really is different when you're playing a cash game to a tournament play. Kwan might have bet somewhere along the line a bit more if it was a tournament. That's what I'm saying, it's a cash game. They've all changed they've gone back into their shell, if you like.
Like you
They're
said,
very
there's
cautious.
no need to steal blinds and antes because there are no escalating blinds or antes.
No, the money will go on a big drawing hand or
Yeah.
a set versus a straight and a flush draw or something like that. You might get a lot of action before it hits.
Well, Tim Fan there again, he's way out in front of everyone, 26,000. And Loy has increased there to about 10,000.
6 total.
What was the original buy-in, 5 or 10?
5,000. And you can rebuy after the third one for 10 and after the fourth one for 20.
So, somebody rebought already?
I think that a bunch of people have rebought, and I think Tim Fan's way out in the lead. Now, Twan Lee has raised here with ace-queen, and Ken Berg's going to call him with ace-9, and Twan's out ahead here. King 10-5, Twan's got a gut shot. He's going to bet. Ken's going to muff. Twan takes it down. Looks like he's having some Ricola over there on the table.
It was RT.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about. That Austrian guy blowing out that with that kazoo or whatever the thing's called. So I haven't seen any really giant pots yet tonight, Mel. But the game tends to loosen up towards the end as more chips get on the table. Twan's going to bring this one in with the ace-8 of clubs. 300. And he's going to take it down. Oh, excuse me, seat 9 is called in the big blinds.
What is his hand?
King, queen. And Twan's got 2 pair, ace-8. He's got aces up. And he does not bet. He does not bet on the flop.
Well, he's got too big a hand.
And
so
now Pat is going to bet with king, queen. He picks up a queen. He bets 500.
I think he's going to get raised, yeah. Oh, queen on the turn.
Yeah, queen on the turn. And Twan laid the trap, and the guy caught up a little bit. And Twan just smooth calls here on the turn. Very tricky. And the river is a 10. Now Pat checks. We're probably going to see a value bet here by Twan. Bet 600 on the river. Pat's thinking about it here. The
I
pot,
think he's thinking of passing. I don't think he's thinking
there
of
you go, he
calling.
folds. Pot was about 2,300 there. Did not call the extra 6. And Twan takes it down there with aces up.
Not yet.
I sometimes think it's fishy, Mel. If someone like Twan has raised me pre-flop and an ace comes there and he checks behind it in position. Sometimes it can smell fishy.
Well, his hand was too big. He flopped 2 pairs. He knew the other guy didn't have an ace even, so he had to let him catch up a little bit.
I wake up every day.
It's probably
There and there he is again. He doesn't
Quan's strongest game and Pat's weakest game, I would say.
Yeah, this is the 9, I think.
Because Pat doesn't play a lot of tournaments or no limit. So
I don't love myself.
Tuan is raised here again, this time with Queen 9 offsuit. Bruce Parker's called them with the Ace 8 suited. Tim Fan's in there with 9-10 suited.
yeah, Tim Fan likes to play suited connectors a lot when he's on the button.
He's on the button. So 5-way action, about a $1,500 pot. 7-5-3, couple of diamonds. Doesn't look like anyone picked up anything here.
Well,
A pair of fives.
pair of threes was
Or a
made.
pair of threes, yeah.
Yeah.
Pat's got a pair of threes in early position. And it gets checked to Tim on the button, and he bets 800. Over cards. And Bruce is going to make the call with Ace 8. Wow, Ace 8 of hearts. And he actually has the best hand. And the turn is an ace. And now he picks up top pair. And he checks it to Tim.
I think Tim's going to lose this pot.
Wow, and Tim's going to bet here. Looks like about 2,500. And Bruce quickly calls. It looks
He's
like.
gone all in, is he? Oh, he's raised him.
He has. He's come over the top all in. There you go. And he takes it down.
That's an unbelievable call with Ace 8 of hearts.
Yeah, on the flop, yeah. He's got pure instinct. He thinks he's got the best hand there. And the Tim's just making a bluff at it. He doesn't really have anything, does he?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Oh, you know what?
He's got no hand.
Yeah.
I'll watch that live.
If I watch and he shows me
And he's going to pay the collection pot.
Actually, that is kind of busted.
I can't lose everything.
If he thinks Tim's bluffing, really, he should go on top of him.
Yeah,
and
check
put his
raise
hand
or-
down, not really just call. So you're just hoping to catch him.
And he did.
And he did.
Yep. He did.
No, I still play poker. Yes, I still lose.
Right, that's the point.
And I realized I started to win. I realized, you know what? I like winning better.
There's no point. I said that all along. But playing and losing is better than not playing.
Looks like Suit 7 picked up King, Queen of Diamonds.
Yep.
Which is Frank.
Frank Hong. Hassan is limped in. Hassan's got pocket fives from up front. And Hong just limps in with the King Queen. And the blinds are going to go, and we're going to see 4-way action. $400 pot. Lloyd's got a little suited connector over there.
C2 has got 600.
Yeah. Ace 10 7 here on all clubs. And Frank is going to bet. Looked like he bet out of turn. Yep. And now he checks. Now everyone checks. That's interesting.
That's just sold. He sold his hand away.
And now he's picked a straight
He's
up on the
picked up a
turn.
straight.
Jack on the turn. Got the nut straight.
Frank's got the next straight.
Yeah, Frank. Frank had bet out of turn and then he checked on the flop.
Oh, he's saying.
Wow, and Hassan calls him with pocket fives with the 5 of clubs. And if he hits a club, he's actually good. It does not come. Wow, and he gets checked down on the river.
Well, he didn't want to be chopped with the flush draw, so he checked it out.
Frank did not put a bet in there at the river.
Thank you.
And he said now he's saying he checked by accident on the river.
I don't think so.
I go, oh, king high. Oh, is there a pair on the board? No.
Yeah.
I think
Good
he was just
acting.
Hollywoodding.
This is Hollywood for
Yeah,
you guys.
he was saying
in poker.
that he didn't think he had a straight.
I
But
go, oh, shit, I misread my hand. King high.
he put a bet there and on the turn.
He didn't want to show a weakness by it, so he made an excuse. So that's poker for you.
Side jacks. Yo, slow road.
It's definitely a different tempo in this game because
Bellagio? Get me involved. Don't get me involved, guys.
all tournament players change their style when they play cash games. They've got to, otherwise they're going to go broke. So there's a lot of waiting going on in this game.
Oh, absolutely. That pot is limped around 3 ways.
Only slow roll. And have a. Slow the game down, though. No, you're right.
10-8 deuce. Couple of diamonds. Everyone checks. Turns a 4.
The best slow roll.
Gives Hassan a pair.
throw 500 apiece.
King 4 over there in seat 4, and he's going to bet. He bets 300.
What he had?
He's going to take it down.
It was an 8 queen jack.
And again, we haven't seen a lot of big pots here. I think people are still kind of jockeying for position now.
The river.
Lots of waiting.
Well, not many big hands out there. So no
Yeah.
cashing hands. You know, no one's hit a top pair against bottom set or something like that, which is a blind hand.
Right.
I got king high.
That's why they play those 5s and 4s. They're hoping to snap one off.
All right, you win.
Bruce Parker's suddenly got a lot of chips over there in seat 6.
King high.
Well, he made a
Of course.
big call when he called Tim with ace 8 of hearts
Yep.
and got paid off.
Ace, queen,
So Tim and Bruce, the big stacks at the table. It'll be interesting to see them go head to head. Kenny's going to limp in here on the cutoff with the ace 5.
See, I think that's... Oh, is there a limp in before that?
No, there isn't.
That's very weak.
Yeah. And Tuan's going to get a free ride in the big blind with 7-3 offsuit.
Yeah,
I mean, wasn't there
Ken hits top pair now.
board, right? So he said I'm king high. Well, it's
And he bets 200. And he takes it down. Yeah, we've seen Ken do that a couple of times with big hands in late position, pocket 8s.
he said he had king.
Some weak aces. Show some limp in there.
well, it's alright if he's changing his style a little bit to get action.
No, I didn't hear nothing.
If he's got a bigger hand, usually those hands are,
Three-handed.
you know, you're giving the pot up very easily.
They're both drunk. They can't. Sometimes.
If someone limped him before, it'd be okay, but
He says, "Do you hear that, right, Swan?
you don't want to limp in too many pots without raising them and hold them and hold them. He's picking up a bigger hand now. He's picked up ace queen. I think C2's got the queen jack.
Queen jack, yeah. Lloyd's got queen jack offsuit.
C2 will not call.
Yeah, he does not call. Well,
He's a pretty solid player.
solid player, and we talk about that hand really being a trap hand and no one to hold him. King, queen, jack.
Well, that's late position. It doesn't have to be a trap hand in late position.
Tuan's got the nut flush draw. He checks it. Kenny checks right behind him, and now Tuan's picked up a flush. 3 of diamonds. He's got the nut flush, and Ken's going to call him with ace high here. Wow. And the river is a 6. See what kind of bet Tuan's going to make here on the river. About a $1,500 pot, I want to say. It looks like he's betting 2,000.
I figured you had a middle pair and the ace was scared.
1,800 to be precise. And Kenny's thinking about it. He's just got ace high. He's going to let it go there, Mel. Juan takes it down with the nut flush.
He's lucky he didn't hit ace or queen on the river.
Yeah.
He would have paid him off.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to call with ace queen high.
Especially with the queen, right? My goodness.
Well, ace or queen. He's going to pay him off. Because he badly wanted to call that. You can tell.
Finally, an action player.
And this time, Tim Fan's going to straddle. He's
Yep.
got the big chip stack, so it's 200 to call. Of course, straddle is a kind of a second big blind. Tim will have the option when it comes back around to him.
Or a reblind.
Yeah. And Tuan is
In
going to...
Australia, we call that going over. When you straddle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go over blind.
Tuan made it 800 to go with Jack 9 suited, and Pat limped in with pocket 5s, and we're going to be heads up here. It's going to be about a $2,000 pot. Tuan's picked up a flush draw with the ace on board.
If Pat checks and he bets, he's going to give it.
Wow, Tuan checks right behind him. The turn is a 10, and now Tuan's going to bet. He's going to bet 1,000. And Pat folds. So I was going to say it's interesting to see that Tuan, he checked his aces up hand. He shows the jack of hearts there. Wow. He checked the aces up on the flop, but that hand didn't get shown down, the ace 8. Pat had folded there on the river, and this time he picks up a big draw with a premium scare card on the flop and chooses to take a card. So it's kind of like, he trapped last time, and this time I'm going to do the same thing. I'm gonna check
Well, he
behind him.
just wanted to see if Pat had an ace, and when Pat checked the second time, he decided he didn't have an ace, so he can buy the pot, and he had a redraw, so he can put him on a pair. Pat thinking he's still playing his ace.
think
You
so.
know, you got to get into the opponent's head how he's thinking more than what the cards are. Seeing the cards is not always the answer. It's how they're thinking. That really makes a difference in the game. It's easy to.
Tim is going to raise here out of the big blind. 2,000 more. He's got pocket jacks. Boy, he's on fire tonight. 2,000 more out of the blind.
Well, he doesn't really want to see a flop. So. Bruce is more likely to call him. He's fearless, so he'll go with ace of the hearts. Anything's possible here.
Look at this. He's reaching out for chips here. The ace-9. Who was the original raiser on this hand there? And see, Tuan was actually the original raiser to 300, and he's out of the hand. Bruce called in between, and now he's going to call the re-raise, it looks like. And we're going to see a $4,500 pot heads up. Ace-9 against pocket jacks.
They're suited, that's why he's in there. They get carried away with that.
Queen, deuce, 6. Tim looks like he's betting 2,000. $6,500 pot now, and Bruce quickly mucks. Well, sometimes you don't even know, a hand like ace-9 there, Mel. If you hit the ace, you don't even know exactly where you're at either.
Well, it's always a worry when you see an overcard when you have a pair, because if your opponent calls, you feel you're gone. And that's what No Limit's all about, is the overcards that hurt your hand. You can have 2 kings and ace comes, 2 queens and a king or ace comes. Same scenario, you always worry about your opponent having one of those cards. And sometimes you have to bet into it just to know where you're at.
Right, and then,
So you don't give your opponent a free card, basically.
And then if he calls or raises, you kind of know where you're at.
Well, you may have to dump it if he raises you. But then by you taking the lead, it sometimes makes them pass the hand because they think you've hit the flop at the same time.
5-way action here, limped around. $500 pot, queen, 4-7, couple of clubs. Frank's got the nut flush draw over there in seat 7. He bets 400.
That's all I said.
The hand's too big to bet, actually.
Yeah, I know.
And Tuan is going to call here with second pair. So we're heads up, Frank against Tuan.
Now comes I think Frank's going to check it.
Turn is a 3. Now it gives Frank a wheel draw, and a 7 comes off on the river, giving Tuan trips. And it's going to get checked down here.
Well, he was hoping for him to bet so he can make some money out of it.
Yeah, check to induce a bluff there.
Thank you.
That's a pretty good play by him, actually. I know he didn't get paid off, but it gave him a chance to bury himself.
Again, we want to thank everyone for joining us at Live at the Bike. We stream live cash games every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 o'clock U.S. Pacific time. And we are doing Poker Blues whale game tonight. 5,100 no limit, $5,000 max buy-in, restricted game.
5, 6, and 8 on them, too.
Yep. So we've got a $500 pot. King, Jack, 9.
Oh, King 10 has got a draw, and
Tuan, it looks like Tuan bet with King 9.
he's flopped 2 pair, top and bottom
Yeah,
pair.
top and bottom pair, and Ken might get in trouble here. He's got the King 10, the top pair with the straight draw.
He's going to call to try and
Ken check calls here.
to catch a queen or a 10 here.
Turn is a 6. No, a jack would actually also help Ken's hand. $1,000 bet, and Ken quickly calls. Quickly calls, and we're talking about 3,200 here. Let's see the river. It's a queen.
He's going to check it, so he's got no choice.
And there's the straight.
I can't. He can't possibly want to bet this hand.
Wow. Are you surprised that Kenny checked the straight there on the river to Tuan? I mean, that's such a scary board. Do you think Tuan's going to bet? He obviously didn't bet with 2 pair.
kind of gives
It's,
it.
you cannot bet if a queen or 10 comes. He can call. He might bet if the jack comes.
Can I come in with the live too?
You saying Kenny can't bet there with the straight on the end?
No.
Or
Tuan.
Tuan, right, of course.
Kenny must bet it because he
Yeah.
should be betting to get a call.
Right.
A weak bet to get a call is fine. He might get a $600 call.
That's why I was surprised that you checked it there
Well,
from up front on the river.
I'm not surprised what any of these guys do.
Well, we say we're surprised in terms of poker play.
Uh,
It's like a $200.
Are we on still?
Come on, Yosh.
And-
Go to the heart, man. To the top.
We, no,
He's playing tight.
7-way action. 7-way.
Ten the heart. 8. No Frank Mariani this time.
Frank wants to play $20,000 buy-in pot limit.
That's a better game. Yeah, that's what they have 1-1-2. What's better about it? Right? 1-1-2, right?
And
Mine are 1-1-2.
Pot limit is a better action game than
Yosh is in trouble here for club comes.
the more skill.
yeah, we've got a huge hand here. Ooh, queen.
And Yosh got saved and made it straight, I think. No.
Oh, sorry about the audio problems, folks.
Yeah.
We cut out there for a second. Jumping into a hand, Yosh had a flush draw that he missed. Pat had top pair with the flush draw, and Frank has the best hand with 2 pair. And it looks like it's the biggest hand of the night. And all Yosh has is a busted draw here. Does not have the straight, but he's going to bluff at it. He's going to bet 3,000. And look at this. Frank immediately mucks 2 pair with the 8-9. And Pat's going to muck the weak ace, and Yosh buys himself what looks to be about a $4,000 pot, and he shows the bluff. He shows the bluff. Wow. And he got Frank to muck, at 8-9 there, Mel.
That's a great bet by
Yeah.
Yosh. Yeah.
They gave it 9.
Not a strong hand with that board. With the
Really
back
put
behind
his
him.
bet. Put
Yeah.
Pat on the ace. And
They're a 9. They're 8. Oh, man. 2 pair. Have you had club go through?
Yosh picked up ace, diamond, jack of spades in this hand.
Yep. And he's in the big blind.
He's on big blind,
Yeah.
so
Timmy Pham, though, he's going to raise it. He's going to make it 400 to go. He's got king, queen. And
Yosh is probably going to call this.
yep, Yosh calls.
Heads up.
So heads up at an $850 pot. Wow.
Wow.
Ace, queen, jack. Yosh is flopped top and bottom. Tim's got a pair and a straight draw, and Tim checks right behind him.
Well,
And the turn is a king, and now Tim has 2 pair as well. Check, check. And the river is an ace, and Yosh fills up. Counterfeits Tim's 2 pair. He now has aces and kings.
he knows he's got top and bottom, so he's got to be careful.
1,600 is the
And
bet.
Yosh bets 2,000. He checked the flop. Tim checked behind him. It went check, check on the turn. And Yosh just showed that bluff, Mel, last hand. But Tim wisely lays it down.
Well, it's very hard for Tim to call because there's a straight out there and Yosh
Yeah.
is still betting into it, so he's going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
In the live at the bike whale game.
I've been pretty unlucky in this whale game.
Huh?
I've been unlucky in the no limit
That's not the question. I'm just asking him a question.
Again, Bruce Parker and Tim Fan, the big stats at the table.
We saw a great bluff a minute ago. Well done by Yoshi, bet 3,000 on the flop. With king high against two pairs and nice hand was shown on the table. Anyway, be leaving you guys. I hope you enjoy it. And
Oh, Mel, thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate it, as always.
Are you winner today? It's not over. There you go. It's not over. Are you in 10 or are you in 15? I'm in 10. Oh, you're waiting. Is it over?
That's always a pleasure for Mel to stop by.
Yes.
Give us some insight. Been kind of a team night so far, Cheryl. We haven't seen a lot of guys get mixed up, but we know that can change quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very quickly. And Pat's going to rebuy for 5,000. Tim Fan's really driving the table right now. He's going to make it 400 to go. He's got big slick offsuit. Pat's going to call. Pat's going to show us his cards over there in seat 9. And Yosh calls with ace-10 offsuit on the button. Ooh, and Pat is smooth called with pocket queens. He did not re-raise, and he's going to see the flop 4 ways. Jack, 10, 8. Tuan has an open-ended straight draw. The ace-king's got a gut shot, and it gets checked to Pat, and he's going to bet it.
Betting 16.
He bets 2,000, or 1,600 there, it looks like. And Yosh has ace-10. He's been on a bit of a rush the last few hands.
That's a problem. Once you show bluff, next time you gotta...
Yosh is going to let it go. Tuan lets it go. And Tim lets it go. Looks like anytime the whales show any strength, the pros tend to get out of the way there, Shirley. And I guess they're running the cards out for the players there. But anyways, Pat's going to take it down there with queens.
Right.
Doesn't that seem like it's kind of the trend?
Well, I mean, from what I've seen, remember I was only here for the first half hour and
Yeah.
stepped away, but yeah, I think you're right.
I was too scared to use our contact down. Oh, yeah. Right?
I haven't heard a lot from Tuan Lee tonight.
You got a bigger flush draw? You had enough flush draw. You played a version of that.
Tim Fan's going to limp in there. 6-8 of hearts.
If you had enough flush draw, you had to have aces.
Yosh is going to come in. And we're going to see a limped pot 4 ways.
4.
10, 6, 9 on the flop. And Tim Fan is going to bet here on the 6 with the gut shot.
He has a pair of 6s, and it looks like they're good. Yeah, pair of 6s were good.
Yep. Yosh had a gut shot there as well that chose to mock. Again, if you want to get a chance to win a WPT seat or a seat into the main event next year, you can play on Poker Blue. Go to pokerblue.com, play 4 hours on a 1-2 limit game or higher, or any no-limit game. And you get registered for a Sunday afternoon free roll. The winner of that free roll gets that package. If you type in BIKE in the bonus code when you're depositing money in Poker Blue, if you win the free roll, you'll get bought into this game. Get a chance to play it up in a cash game with the whales and the pros.
Poker games always used to have antes. And then the high players said, hey, we don't need the ante.
The raiser was seat 1. He
Yeah.
raised to 300 with ace queen, 2 callers.
Yep. King 10-4 on the flop. And everyone gets checked around here. There's a 3. Ken is still good here with ace queen. Let's see if someone's going to try to buy it. Nope. The river's a deuce, and Ken is still good.
hey, give it to me. I'll take it with
And no one chooses to buy it, and Kenny's going to take it down there with the ace-queen. Well, it's been pretty passive tonight. I might go out on a limb and say that Tuan might not have played the hand that way in a tournament on the button.
Oh, yeah. I think you're probably right.
Yeah. I don't think that's going too far out in the limb. Bruce Parker's got the button. And him and Tim Fan have got the most chips on the table. So tomorrow night we're going to be doing another version of Ladies Night. It will be either a $100 or a $200 buy-in. And we may see you in the game, Shirley.
Maybe.
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 I think the viewers want to see you.
Well,
Especially with your new outfits that you bought for the show. San's going to bring this one in for 300, ace-10 offsuit. Tuan Lee calls with 9-8 suited. And Tim Fan's got an ace-queen suited. Looks like he just calls from the blind. Tuan's hit top pair.
what?
Excuse me, Hasan has hit top pair, the original raiser. He bets 500, and he's going to take it down. Oh, it gets called by Tim. Excuse me. Now Tim's picked up a flush draw. Tim called with the ace-queen. Hasan's going to continue to lead with ace-10 for 1,200, and Tim calls. And if the ace comes, it's not good for Tim.
Right. Needs a queen or a spade.
Here we go. And the river is a spade, and Tim has made a backdoor spade flush. And it pairs the
here's
board.
Here's the gross overbet that you like.
And he's
Seems
going to
to get
bet.
paid off.
Well, I think he's betting actually.
Is it about the pot?
About the size of the pot, a little over the
okay.
size of the pot. And boy, Hasan's looking at it like, wow, he's got ace-10. Did the guy make a backdoor spade draw? Hasan bet the flop, Tim called. Hasan bet the turn, Tim called. Now Tim's going to lead on the river with his made flush. $4,000 here. And Hasan wisely lays down. We've seen some great laydowns here tonight.
Yes, we have.
Great laydowns.
10.
A couple things going on there. You wonder if Tim check called there to see if he could pick up a draw. You might have thought he had the best hand anyways on the flop.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it was an offsuit 6, if he would have done the same thing. Represented second pair.
Or represent, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you will take one of this flush. I just don't want to let the rest of these guys know.
Frank Hong has the button here.
Later.
Ooh, Yosh limps in here with ace-king.
Yeah, do the hand thing, you remember.
600.
And Tuan raises to 600. Let's see if Yosh pulls the limp re-raise here. Tuan has raised with ace-8 offsuit. Yosh limped with ace-king.
900.
And with an aggressive player like Tuan, we may see it, Shirley. He's looking over to see how
He's
much
looking
Tuan
at his
has.
chips.
We can check it. Yeah, of course.
And there it is, the limp re-raise. Gonna make it 2,000. And Tuan really doesn't have a lot of chips over there. He's been hovering right around 2,000 to 4,000 the entire night. He might want to just get away from this one, and he does.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a case of half playing the player, half playing the scenario. Because you wonder if, like, say, Bruce Parker came in for a raise, if Yosh would have done that, the limp re-raise with ace king. Maybe taking advantage of the fact that Tuan might like to, play it aggressive, play a lot of hands. And he did have the best hand.
Yeah, okay.
He's asking you to get it back together. Tell him, English only. Come on, tell him when you're out of the hand.
Maybe later. No, I'll wait.
Wow, Tuan has limped in with pocket aces.
Tell him what I have.
Oh, and
He doesn't get a DP
Yeah.
limp re-raise.
No, and he was
Limped pot, yeah.
mid-position, so we've got a limped pot 4 ways, and Tuan's in there with aces. And the flop comes Jack 8-7. Let's see if this gets Tim Fan in trouble. And Tuan's going to put a little bet out there, 400. Tim calls with the Queen Jack. Really tough to put Tuan on aces the way the hand's been played.
Right.
He was in mid to late position. Aces against Queen Jack. Wow, the turn's a 9. It brings a 1 card straight to the board. Tuan's going to bet $1,000 here. And again, he doesn't have that many chips, so he's almost pretty much pot committed himself, I want to say. And Tim...
You're talking about Tuan?
Yeah, Tuan. And Tim makes the call. And the river is a king. And Tuan checks. And it looks like Tim checked right behind him. Bit of an awkward hand there.
Yeah.
And Tuan's going to take it down with aces. Wow.
Well, I'm sure Tuan wasn't pleased. He wasn't pleased with the way the whole thing played. He gets a scary board, a scary 10. And
just when I said Tuan, he'll drive with his good and his bad hands, and that's why I love him. He chooses to slow play aces there. But he wins it anyways. Yeah, that board just kept getting more and more menacing. I mean, it's almost you almost have to put Tim on in one specific hand for him to call the flop there, for you to have the best hand. Unless he was calling with, I guess, a weak queen.
Mm-hmm.
But he had Queen Jack, which he didn't have 2-pair. And Tuan was in, I think he was maybe 4th position there. Sometimes I do that limp re-raise move, but usually when I'm way up front.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuan is raised, it looks like, to 200 with 4-3 suited. Tim Fan called with King Jack, and Yoshi's in there with Ace-7. King, Queen, Ace. Tuan's got a flush draw.
200.
And
small bet, and they're all in it.
yeah, and there's the flush, a 10 on the turn. Yeah, small bet.
It also gives Tim the straight.
Yep, Tim's got a straight and an open-ended royal flush draw. Wow. Tuan has bet 300 here. Tim Fan raises to 1,000.
700.
Tuan's got the made flush. And he just calls.
He just calls.
Wow. Let's see the river.
Oh.
It's a heart. And Tim Fan has made a higher flush. And right now he has the second nut. And it's just going to get checked down. Tim's going to take it down there with the king high flush with the jack. I'm surprised to see that Tuan didn't re-raise the turn. And Tim wins another one. Wow. And I want to say that Tuan might be over to maybe near his 3rd rebuy where he can bring 10 grand onto the table. I believe that he has already rebought a 2nd time, but I'll get confirmation.
I don't know if I saw him. I know that. The only one that I know for sure was Ken. Other people have rebought? Did I miss a few?
Getting word that it wasn't his.
Yeah, it's only seat 1 and 9.
Seat 1 and 9 have rebought. Here we go. Looks like the pot was limped around.
Every player has a king in their hand.
Yep. Ace, king.
Well, 4 of the 5 players have a king
King
in their
9,
hand.
king 5, and king 10. Wow. Look at this flop.
How much should I owe you for that? Huh? How much should I owe you for that?
Might be whoever wants it most here. And Tuan bets with ace, king.
Yeah, you can't fault him for that. I would probably do the same thing.
Well, he has the best hand.
Yeah.
And he's going to take it down. Tuan changing it up a little bit. It looked like he limped in with ace, king that time, too.
I was hoping you kept saying that so that they grab them up.
Don't worry, that's why I said if I threw my hand up.
Again, if you want to respond, make comments, suggestions, questions, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums, World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments. Live at the Bike official thread. Take a look at another chip count here. Tim Fan, he's down a little bit since our last chip count, but he's still way ahead here. And we've got several
Yosh has
people
made some
yeah,
progress.
Ahead of 10,000. And I know that I got word that only seat 1 and seat 9 have gotten rebuys, but it doesn't, there's too much money on this table for them to not have had rebuys. I mean, there's
If they only had 5, that's 45, and then a
Yeah.
rebuy at 55,000. There's more than 55,000.
6 people have more than double the buy-in. There's got to be more than 2 people that have rebought.
Maybe they did before the show started.
Maybe.
That could be.
Yeah.
Neil Diamond.
Tuan has bet here. He's got top 2 pair. He's actually, it looks like he check raised there. Check raised to 1,000. Yeah, Frank Hong bet there with the ace-9, and Tuan shows 1 card, of course. 5. Yeah, and I think that when we were asking our hostess out there that we were referring to what has happened during the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try to get word of what people have
Done before
rebought
the show
before
would
the
be a
show.
good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a.
Because there's a lot of chips out there. Now this is beginning to play more like a regular no-limit game.
Far from the music, or
Nice that.
oh, it's not like being right up on.
Thank you.
You know, on the field, right?
There's only one person who might grab it. I thought maybe I should.
$200 raise there by Frank Hong. And a few callers here. 9-10-3. So it's a $1,000 pot. And Hong's going to bet here. Got a gut shot. Yosh calls a second pair, Queen 9. Tuan's got King 9. He has the best hand. He makes the overcall. And the action's over to Bruce Parker. He's got a gut shot. He's going to let it go. So we got a $2,500 pot right now. Tuan Lee with the best hand. Turn is a 5. And Tuan's going to bet. He pulled the check call on the flop and he bets on the turn. He bets 2,000. Now a $4,500 pot. 2,000 for Yosh to call. And Yosh once again makes the right laydown. And Tuan takes it down.
What is it? Where is it? What is it? Ace of Diamonds.
Check the 10? No, I just don't want to see a pink. I knew you were on the draw. Pop it on the flop, but. I'm calling no matter what. Whatever you guys bet, that's on the turn. Now, what if you guys check? I can't afford that. I already said
Got a limp there. I haven't seen Patrick play many hands. And seat 5 is going to raise here to 600. Tuan on the button. Looks like he had
He had a queen. I
yeah, I
didn't see
think
the
it was
other
Queen
card.
Jack's King Queen suited, I believe. And he takes it down.
very sharp. You threw it so high.
Well, some of these players, obviously, they play each other in the high limit white chip games, but they may be more comfortable playing other games, like Mel was talking about Patrick. I think that he's a triple draw player. I want to say with the question mark. Obviously, these guys really spread the gamut when it comes to games.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty rare for them just to play one game, even for 3 hours straight.
Right.
This is a no for now, you don't have the 12,000. That's on me.
Yosh is going to bet 400 here. Queen Jack offsuit. And there's the Tuan Lee we know. He's going to come over the top with 6-9 offsuit for 1,200 more. $400 there by Yosh. Tuan comes over the top. Yosh lays it down. Tuan picks up a nice little pot there
Yeah,
with the re-raise.
he's actually built up a stack again. He was just at about $2,000 10 minutes ago. and now has, looks like around a little more than 7.
White chips are $100 chips. Purples are $25. The greens are $1,000, and the light purples are $5,000. So we got 2 dark purples in the small blind, $50.
400.
Loy's got the white chip in there with the big blind. And we've got a raise. Seat 6 is made at 400 to go. He's got ace 4 offsuit. Loy's going to call with ace 10, and we're heads up. So Bruce, the original raiser there in seat 6, gets checked, turns a 3. Now Loy's going to bet 800.
If you're going to raise with ace 4, I mean, you would normally want to take a stab at that pot with the king on the flop.
Absolutely. I mean,
well, I would.
We're
I
definitely,
would. Maybe not him, but I would.
Well, we're definitely seeing a pattern where it seems like a lot of the whales seem to bet it when they have it and don't bet it when they don't. Although you have to watch out for certain types of people like Ken Berg that like to always play a trap game as well. Check their good and their bad hands. Sometimes you just gotta throw a feeler bet out there and see where the guy's at. Frank Hong's going to raise with ace 6 offsuit. We got 3-way action here.
So this game does play like 3 to 5, where they're playing ace rags.
Yeah, $1,800 pot. Yoshi's got a flush draw. Frank raised with ace 6. He didn't really pick any piece of it off. Frank's going to bet. Gonna bet 1,500. Now the issue now with Frank is, does he have enough chips to say get check raised off of the hand? Because I think he's on the short. Oh, I think he's got a dark purple, so he's got 5,000 more behind him. So maybe Yosh will make a move here. And Yosh looks like
he just called.
Just called. Got another big pot brewing. Turns a jack. Checks, and Frank checks right behind him, and the river's a club, and Yosh has made a flush. What a great time to put a bet in here. Hope you get called if Frank has a king, right? 4-liner to a straight on board with the king. Pot's about $4,500. I was wondering if Yosh was going to bluff at it if he missed the club at the end anyways. Now, we can see that it's really not going to matter because Frank's not going to call. Got bet 5,000. Frank quick calls.
You
nice
think
club
Frank was laughing because even if Yosh bet like $800, right. I don't think he was calling.
Right. But if he had a,
he sits there and watches.
How about if you had ace king?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you know, or any king, for that matter. I mean, that's probably the best club for Yosh to come there on the river, like queen of clubs.
Why would anybody want to raise dark? Ace queen of clubs. Huh?
And seat 5's going to straddle it up. Tuan Le, I think that's the first time he's going to straddle tonight. It's 200 to call. Yosh is going to make the call out of the small blind. Hassan's in there. And Tuan taps the table. And Yosh is limped in the small blind with ace king. Wow. And Tuan is hit bottom 2 pair. And he's going to bet it. And Yosh calls. And Hassan calls with the open-ended straight draw. $1,500 in the pot. The turn's a 9. And everyone checks.
Oh.
And the river is a 3.
Tuan's hating his hand at the moment.
Well, Tuan's got a straight. Oh, excuse me. No,
Tuan has two pair.
Yeah, 4-liner to a straight.
Right. That's why he's hating his hand. He has the best hand, but he's hating it.
But he bets it at the
He does
end.
bet it. But that turn, he wasn't thrilled with that turn, I'm sure.
Didn't like it. Got 2 pair, and he shows it.
2 pairs.
Yosh has played a little tricky tonight.
Nice straddle.
And another straddle. So
Thank you.
straddle here by Bruce Parker in seat 6. $200 to call.
That's what I just did. I'm sorry I did now that he went.
You're sorry you did? You raising, Kenny?
Ken Berg's going to call with ace rag. It looks like Yosh is reaching for chips. And he limps in as well. 5-3 suited on the button.
Twan calls deuce 5.
Four-way action.
Oh, please.
King 7-10. All hearts. Ken's got the ace of hearts. Bruce picks up top pair. It's an $800 pot. Straddled pot, limped around. And it gets checked around, and the turn is an 8, and now Ken's picked up the nuts.
Twan, what did he do? Throw out a $100 bet there? Threw out a $100 bet.
Twan's bet
Let's see if my
100.
deuce is
The
good.
deuce of hearts. Let's see what Ken does. Ken just calls.
Just calls.
And now Yosh may be thinking that everyone's weak. No, I don't think he's going to get involved with it. He was thinking about it there for a
He's,
second.
Should I go for it?
And I think Twan knows he's in big trouble.
Yeah, I think so.
River's a 10. Twan checks. Ken's going to bet.
300.
That's 300. And yeah, he doesn't even pay him off to the tune of 300 there.
You scared Kenny with that. How big was your heart?
There's a stop bet for you.
Thank you.
Twan Lee with the stop bet on the turn.
Nice saddle.
Now seat 7 straddling. That's 3 in a row. We had Twan, then we had
Makes
Bruce,
for a bigger
now we have
game.
Frank.
Of course,
Well, they realize their game's boring.
our main heckler, as I call him now, since we had this comedian talk last week, the fellow by the name of Jive Dadson, I think he's on vacation from the thread.
600.
He might have had a convention with the old No Limit 5-card draw hobos somewhere. And we got three-way action. $600 raise by seat 5, Twan with ace 8. And he looks like he's picked up the best hand. Well, Frank's going to bet with ace 10 overcards. He's going to bet 1,200. So the pot's 3,000, 1,200 to call. And Twan calls. $4,200 pot now. Turns a 6. And Frank has the ace of spades now.
Huh. And Twan's leading out.
Yeah. Twan pulled the check, call, bet on the turn again. And he's bet, it looks like 2,000. So now the pot is 6,000. 2,000 for Frank to call. And Frank does have chips, and he makes the call. Pot is now 9,000. And the river is a spade, and he makes a backdoor flush. And he's bet here. Twan checks, and Frank has bet. How much is the bet there?
He bets the rest of what he didn't. But 2,000 of it was Twan's, because he has a $5,000 chip out there, 5,400.
So it's a
the
$3,000 bet there on the river.
3,400.
$12,000 pot, 3,000 for Twan to call, and he lays it down. Not a lot that he can beat. Also, a one-liner to a straight, too. 7 would give anyone a straight.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank wins a pretty
I'm
big pot.
surprised that Twan bet out on the turn. I was actually thinking that was a great card for Frank, for him to hold the, all-in bluff. Because
Over
he
the
was
top of
holding,
Twan.
he was holding the ace of spades. No, I didn't think that Twan would lead out. I figured Twan would check, and it would have been a good spot for Frank to move in.
The guy had a spade when he bet. I'm like, looking down, I got a 10. Oh, I got a spade. I got straight draw with
Buttons there in seat 5. Couple of limpers. 4-way action. Here we go. $400 pot. 7-6-5, couple of clubs. Jack 9 of clubs over there.
They have an 8-4.
Yeah, and an 8-4 for a straight. Parker's got a
That's,
straight.
That's Twan. C5.
Yeah, and Parker's got the club draw.
Right.
15 more.
A bet here by, I believe, Ken Berg with ace 6, and Twan has raised with the straight. $400 bet by Ken Berg with ace-6, and Tuan has raised it to $1,200 with 4-8. It's $1,600 to call, and Bruce Parker's got Jack-9 of clubs, and he's going to call with a gut shot and a flush draw. Ken mucks.
You think she's the one? I'm all in.
All in.
Oh, seat 6
Oh,
is
wow.
raised. Wow. He's raised.
Flop the three.
Swan's
He
all
raises
in.
4,000.
All the chips
yeah,
get in there.
all the chips are in here. Jack-9 of clubs against
A straight.
8-4.
Swan has
Here
to
we go with
escape
the
a club.
turn.
Oh, Jesus.
Turn is an 8,
gives-
and that gives
oh,
the straight.
Bruce, straight.
Swan's going to...
That's a 9 goes.
Need a 9 to chop.
Yep. And the river is a 10.
I'd give Bruce a higher straight.
And that gave Bruce the real nut straight. 8 came there, gave him the gut shot, and he's going to take all of Tuan's money. Wow.
He improved. That's different than making it twice.
Wow, unbelievable. So let's see what Tuan rebuys for there. Flopped the straight and lost there to Bruce. Bruce has the button. We gotten word at how much Tuan's going to rebuy for?
Well, it looks like he's buying in for $5,000. He threw one chip over to Yosh. Yosh is making change for him, and it looks like $5,000. There we go. So it was his second buy-in.
Yep. And this pot is limped around 3 ways. And the action's over to Tim Fan. Lots of garbage, but Pat limped in with ace-10.
3 lanes.
6-2-3, couple of diamonds. No one has much here. Got checked around. That gives Pat top pair. Gonna bet 600 and he's gonna take it down.
You mean you had one club? You had one club?
So obviously Bruce Parker with the semi-bluff there. Big drawing hand. Thought that maybe Tuan was full of it, but Tuan had the goods with the 4-8. And that's what I'm talking about there, Shirley, because I don't exactly know how much Tuan had, but I want to guess that once he made the re-raise to 1,200, he's not going anywhere because he probably only has maybe 2,000 or 3,000 left.
Right.
And that kind of takes away part of the reason of a semi-bluff. If there's no chance the guy's going to fold, that's not really semi-bluff,
That's right.
is it?
Right.
You're just kind of putting your hand in with a
And
draw.
hoping that you...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Got it. C3 is raised here with ace-10, and we've got 3 callers. I want to say the pot's 1,600. Yosh came in with ace-10. Hassan smooth call with the ace-jack. And Hassan is going to bet here.
900.
And he's going to take it down there. There you go.
I'll tell you later.
And again, there's been some discussion as who are the whales, who are the pros. When we talk about whales, we don't mean it in any type of derogatory remark. It just usually means a guy with
That they're
money.
usually, well, like more so business. They've made their money off of business.
Right,
They play the high stakes poker, but they could play it, on a regular basis.
right,
They're not fish.
right.
Well,
And,
some could be.
Definitely some could be. Ken Berg is one of them in seat
Right.
1. Bruce Parker in seat 6. And I'm not familiar with the guy in seat 9. I don't even...
Isn't that the person that Mel was talking about? That he plays a lot of different games and.
yeah, so I don't... again, I'm not...
So I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure. We know that Bruce Parker in seat 6 used to
Work for Callaway.
Work for Callaway, one of the head guys, and
Right,
Ken was one of the founders of Kookaroo Chicken. So
right.
400.
And this pot was limped around pre-flop. And the flop comes king 7-10, couple of diamonds. Tim is going to bet on an open-ended straight draw in position. And he takes it down. I like to call Ken Mr. Kookaroo sometimes. You ever been to Kookaroo Chicken?
No.
Kenny Rogers
Do you
Roasters,
listen to what I say?
Boston
I
Market.
don't think he listens to what I say. He asked me that last week. Come on, Bart. Pay attention.
I don't even know if they're around anymore. Yeah, they are, right?
I think
Couple
so.
of them?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to the other one, neither. Kenny Rogers. I've been to the one in Knott's Berry Farm.
Ah.
Have you been to that one?
No, I
The
have
one
not.
that's the, famous for their chicken dinner. It's very good.
And this pot, I believe, was straddled by Yosh. So it was 200 to call, and we've got four-way action. $800 pot to the flop. 10-9-3, couple of spades. Turn is an ace. Yosh has picked up top pair now. And he checks it. And Bruce is going to bet. One of the few times we've seen him try to bluff here. And Tuan calls with the open-ended straight, and Yosh calls with the weak ace, and Tuan gets there. He's got the jack-high straight. And he's going to bet. 2,000. And now Yosh has got a decision with the weak ace. Third spade there. Tuan checked the flop, called the turn, and now is betting the river. And I want to say that the pot is about 4,000, 2,000 for Yosh to call. But again, you know, it's Tuan, and it's like, well, maybe he's buying the pot, you know? And Yosh makes the call. He makes the call, and Tuan's going to take it down there with the straight. Well, that's the first hiccup in Yosh's game we've seen tonight. He had made a lot of good laydowns before that. And again, I think it's partly the
Tuan's
player.
making change there because Yosh has thrown in
Yeah.
a $5,000 chip.
I think it's partly
3,000 change.
partly the player.
Yes,
You know?
I think so. I don't think Yosh would have called, well, like you give the example, Bruce Parker.
Or Loy in
So-
C2, who seems to play extremely tight,
He,
solid.
he plays pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you had the kid.
Call.
You don't have another son.
Couple limpers.
Five ways.
500 in there quickly. 5 ways. Ace, king, 5, couple of hearts. Tuan's going to bet on the king. It's like 400. And Pat has called with a gut shot wheel draw, and Yosh has called with a gut shot wheel draw. The turn is a 9. Pot is now $1,700. And Tuan's not going to slow down.
18.
He's going to bet 1,800. Shows no fear with the ace. And Yosh mugs, and Tuan takes it down. It looks like Hassan has popped out of the game, and he's going to come back here for a couple minutes to talk more about the Poker Blue promotions.
Your percentage of it. Percentage of it lost it.
She'd rather just take a check. It won't be a percentage of winning.
Tim Fan has raced 300.
300.
Wow, ace 10, ace on the flop. Tim Fan has got trip aces, and he's going to bet right into it.
500.
Picks it up, shows the ace.
There you go. Takes it down.
That'd be 120.
How much you charging?
Thank you.
Lots of chips on the table.
He owes 105.
Tens of thousands of dollars in cash game. First cash game ever with whole cards. And Hassan Habib
That's from Hassan.
is going to join me in the
He
booth.
owes $20 more.
Hassan, you've come to talk about Poker Blue. I want to thank you for joining us. Of course, you've always been
Sure.
on the show. Nice on the show. Now, Poker Blue, as always, runs a free roll every week.
Mm-hmm.
And you can play 4 hours of any 1-2 limit game or higher.
Mm-hmm.
And that qualifies you for the weekly free roll on Sundays, correct? Or any no limit game.
Yes, any no limit game, 25 cents or higher.
Any no limit game. And of course, you guys are giving out the option to have several different seats of different WPT tournaments, like I think it's Fiesta del Lago, Foxwoods, and also the World Series of Poker.
For next year, the
For next
10,000
year.
event, yeah.
And
It's a $10,000 package with $2,000 for airfare and staying and everything.
airfare and travel, so $12,000 total. So you can, in essence, be playing 1-2 limit hold'em for 4 hours, qualify for this free roll, and of course, we've seen sometimes the free roll numbers are as low as 50 or 60 people win the thing,
Yes.
and you've won a $12,000 package.
They have been as low as 20 people, but now people are catching on to it, and it was 100 and something now.
Yep. And of course,
So-
this week's special for Live at the Bike viewers, if you use the deposit code BIKE, when you play the free roll and you go on to win it, Poker Blue will put you in this whale game.
Exactly right. If that's what they wish to have an option for, especially for the viewers of liveatthebike.com, especially viewers that are viewing this game.
Yep.
If they win that free roll, they have their choice of WSOP, a WPT event, or they can actually come and play with us, sit down with us and play with the money they get
Yep.
in the whale game on a Wednesday, and they'll have a chance to actually play in the game that they like to watch. So
Now, is it an option between those three things, or you get the seat as well as playing in the whale game?
well, it's an option actually, because it's a $12,000 package,
Uh-huh.
and so they can either take the option of going to World Series of Poker, or they say, you know what, I think I can beat this game, or I'd like to play with these guys, and
Oh,
I
so
think- yeah.
you get a choice, because I might have explained it wrong in the beginning. You get a choice of between those packages, the WPT tournaments, the World Series of Poker, or coming here and getting, I would guess, $10,000 to come into this game plus travel expenses here
I think
to
it's
play,
something like that, yeah.
to play in this
Yeah,
win,
it'll be equivalent value.
equal in value to
So
play.
which will be about 10 to 12,000.
Now, obviously, a lot of people might pick to play in the cash game because you can make double or triple your money up real quick. Whereas playing in the main event of a tournament, it's more of a grind. And
Yeah, or they can say they paid I think it's the biggest no limit game in California in the card
Yeah.
rooms.
yeah, 50, 100,
Yeah.
no limit.
Yeah, so they could say that, I played in the biggest game,
Mm-hmm.
and they could be live on bike.com, and all the friends can watch it and stuff, and
Yeah.
root for them, and they can see it live, so it could be really exciting.
Now, I know for all you Omaha players out there, on Tuesdays they'll do a 50, 100 Omaha limit game, and they have a nice selection of limit hold'em games and some no limit hold'em games. So it's really one of the best deals going on in terms of internet gaming.
Oh, Poker Blue is like, we're really listening to players right now, and they have a sign-up bonus right now. They get, they match 100%. If you put $600, you get another $600, so that's really good thing. And then it's run by players. That's only one of the few poker sites that's run by the players, and so they really listen to players and stuff. And I think it's going to be a good site. It's been really picking up.
Well, Hassan, I want to thank you for coming in the booth and giving us that information about Poker Blue. Good luck
Thank
to you
you.
here at the table.
Thanks a lot. I got to go and try and get some money back now.
Get some money back, yeah.
I'm stuck 5, and I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
There we go, Hassan Habib. Telling us a little bit about Poker Blue. So we're going to get back into the game.
You know how much I wanted to 3-4? He's got Jack 9-4. What does that mean? 3,000, 6,000.
Queen 7-4. On the flop here, the turn's a 6. That gives Loy an open-ended straight draw. He's going to bet 1,600, and he's going to take it down.
That's why Yosh was saying how much I owe you.
And it looks like Yosh
That was saying,
starting to sip a little bit of wine there,
good, you didn't say anything.
having a good time.
You were holding cards, you were smart.
And there's Hassan coming back into the game. So Hassan's saying that he's going to try to get some of his money back, but he hasn't really played the style where if he lost, he was ever steaming. I don't think we've ever seen him steaming on the show. He's really played a pretty solid game in all the cash games that we've seen him, and he's been on Live at the Bike in a lot of different forms many times, whether it's the whale game, some of the early games. Pretty solid cash game player. Bruce Parker is going to raise here, I believe. It was seat 6, the initial raiser, with 5-6 suited. And we've got 5 people in there, which means it's a $2,000 pot. King 9-9.
Wow.
And
Look at
seat
Tuan,
5,
yeah.
Tuan, he's flopped the full house. And it gets checked around. The turn is a 10, and now Yosh has a straight flush. Oh, wow. Look at that one-outer. This is incredible. And he's going to bet. And I believe
Tuan's
that
going to
Tuan,
lose. Yeah.
who bet here? Seat 9 bet. Pat's got a flush. He's got a smaller flush. Pat's got a flush. Yosh has a straight flush. And Tuan's got a full house. This is incredible. And let's see what Tuan does. Oh, my.
Tuan's going to lose every chip that he has.
He's going to raise.
Or that Yosh has, anyway.
Yeah. Did
All
he
their
just
chips
did
are
he
getting
call
in.
or did he raise? He said raise and he hasn't put it in. And Pat might lose all his money here too. And Tuan's going to move all in for another 3,000. Wow, Patrick quickly mucks the small flush. And Yosh has the nut. He's got a straight flush. Unbelievable. I think it's one of the first times we've ever seen a combination of these hands. This is insane. And he's going to make the call. And look what he turns over. Unbelievable. The river's a 7. And Yosh takes it down with the straight flush over full house. Wow. About a $13,000 or $14,000 pot.
And there goes that big chip back
And
to
now I think Tuan can
Yosh.
rebuy for $10,000 now.
Well,
If this is going to be his third rebuy.
I don't know if he'll rebuy. He had more chips than Yosh did, so he should still have some chips in front of him. He had a $5,000
Oh, okay.
chip and he threw
Well, it's
it
a
over
little
to
bit
Yosh.
confusing because I think some of these players have big chips on the table that aren't necessarily in play, almost.
No, I think they're in play. The big chip that Tuan had took out earlier, he had taken it out. It wasn't on the
Okay,
table.
okay. And, wow, full house and straight flush and smaller flush. And Patrick didn't even think about mucking it. I mean, the board was paired.
Right.
He had the small flush, and he was
Right.
the one that led on the turn. Incredible. Wow. And that's the type of hand where you almost sometimes wish that the game was an unrestricted game. Because, I mean, that's $100,000 to $200,000 to
You want to see Tuan lose
$300,000.
everything he has.
Well, I mean, if both guys have $400,000 on the table, I think the money goes in from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, that's a super hand. That's incredible.
I have to make a statement about Tuan, the way that he lost that hand. He lost that hand. He didn't turn his hand, over and show the players, oh, what a
He
bad
didn't-
beat.
he didn't turn it
Not
over,
what
did
I
he?
saw, no.
Wow.
I mean, he just took it like, players should take it in
That's
poker. And
incredible.
most of the players would be, oh, man. I don't
Yeah.
even know how well I would handle it.
Yep. Ooh. 4-way action here. It looks like it was limped around. Ace, 7, 10 on the flop. Got checked around. The turn's a jack. That gives Ken Berg a straight over there in seat 1. And he's going to bet 500. And Tuan looks like he's going to call. Oh, he's going to raise with the weak ace. He raises 1,000. Now what does Ken do? Remember, Tuan lost, and if you said he didn't turn the hand over, but he lost a big pot. So let's see if Ken punishes him a bit and comes over the top. Because you wonder if, even the best of us steam sometimes.
Right. I think he said raise. So
Let's see here.
he threw in the money. And
He is going to raise. Yep.
mhm.
He's going to raise.
There it is. That's a legal rate. I said 4-9. I can't go back to the sack.
I think he's trying to decide how much. Oh, are they're calling a string bet here.
He said raise.
They're calling a string bet.
Right now you've raised 500.
I think Tuan tried to call string bet on him, but let's see if they allow it.
Let me. I think I know why.
Well, they're going to allow the raise, it looks like.
He said raise.
Okay.
I saw him say raise.
And Tuan's going to
Tuan
muck the
mucks.
ace. So tell me why you think. What happened?
I thought that Ken had put in a little bit more than half of the bet where he could only say Tuan had raised 1,000
Yeah.
and Ken accidentally put in 15
Yeah.
and then he would only be able to raise the 1,000 because 500 of it was already there,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Because he didn't declare an amount, so. But he did verbally say it. I did hear him. So.
Have a live straddle.
And again, there's some diehard Live the Bike viewers that have been with us almost every single episode. But I got to say that that's the biggest hand that we've seen lost on the show now in about 1,500 hours of cash play. King's full. And I'm kind of talking about using both cards in your hand, not necessarily like say ace is full, when the board's double paired against king's full. You know what I mean? But that's
Right.
that was legitimate king's full hand there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
The nut king's full, yeah.
Yeah. King's full against straight flush. Wow. And again, like it's, I'd love to see that hand in a 500, 1,000 no game. Pot here was straddled, and boy, it's a family pot.
Eight
Eight
way.
action, $1,600 pot here on the flop. Jack, 7, deuce.
Look
Couple
at
of
Ken.
spades. Ken's got bottom set. And Tim's going to bet on top pair. And Ken's just going to smooth call here. Going to play the trap game. There are a couple spades out here. Looks like he's going to get it heads up, though. So now the pot is now 2,400. Boy, if a jack or a queen comes, we could see a lot of action. Ooh, it's a spade, 8 of spades. Might be a little bit of an action killer. But Tim has the queen of spades in his hand. And he's going to bet. Looks like 2,000.
2,000.
And Ken's going to raise. Looks like he's going to raise it up. Wow, he just called. And the river's a 7, and Ken fills up now. Thought he said raise. And now Tim checks. I want to say the pot's about $7,000 right now. And Ken bets 3,000 into a $7,000 pot. 10,000 total. 3,000 for Tim to call. The spade on the turn. The 7 might have been a little action killer. Just so many things now that can beat him.
Tim's done.
Well, let's see here. Again, $10,000 pot. 3,000 a call.
We should lay side bets in here for $1. Put a stack of dollars.
I understand
He's
that
folding.
I understand that Ken Berg plays a trap game, but people know me. I get frustrated. I mean, it just seems like he could have extracted more here. Or just his style of play to trap,
I don't
trap,
know
trap.
about that, but I mean, Tim's probably one of the best players around.
Well,
I personally think he is, and Ken being the type player that he does, he puts in a raise. And Tim was not going to give.
Well, wait a minute. Ken
Give him more
Ken
chips.
never raised.
Right,
the entire
that's
hand.
what I'm saying. I
He
mean,
never
if he
raised.
did put a raise in there, even on the turn, Tim wasn't going to call. I don't think that.
Because of the spade? What about if he raised
It's not
the flop
just that,
a little bit?
though.
What if he raised the flop
It's
a little?
against Ken too. He's taken into consideration that he bets when he has the goods.
Yeah, but we can see that he just slow plays with the goods too, obviously, right? I mean, it's confusing in the sense that Tuan bets his big hands and bets his
But when
weak
Ken's in
hands,
there, he
but-
has a hand. He's not going to be in a hand to bluff on the turn. I mean, if he called, Tim probably figured, I might not have the best hand here.
Well, he continued to bet on the turn.
He
had the
did.
queen
He
of
thought that,
spades.
right? He probably
You
thought
know.
that would be a good chance to try to bluff Ken out of the pot.
Well,
But I bet if that spade hadn't come, I don't know if we would see Tim make another bet there.
ace 3-3 here on the flop. Even with something as strong, I mean, he did have a so-so kicker with Queen Jack.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't making a bluff out of the flop. I'm sure he thought he had the best hand when he bet. Hassan has made the check call here with ace-8. Tim, fan, he's got a flush draw and a wheel draw. Turns a 7. Check, check, and the river's a 5. And this one just gets checked down, and Hassan is going to take it down there with the ace. Now we see the 5-minute delay of floods coming in on 2+2 and through our emails. But what about that straight flush hand? Of course, we're on a 5-minute delay to protect the integrity of the game. And again, it would have been a little more exciting if they had had more money between the two of them.
You just want to see people tortured.
I don't want to see people tortured, but I mean, how often do you see a straight flush with both cards over king's full with both cards? Potts once again limped around. 5-way action. Frank Hong's picked up top 2 pair here with the queen jack. And Yosha's got top pair. And Frank checked it. He checked the queen jack from up front. And Yosha's going to bet on top pair, 500.
Make it 15.
And Frank looks like he might have just... He has check raised. And Yosha's going to leave there with the queen 9. Frank takes it down. Yeah, you know, these guys really don't show their cards that often.
No.
At all. I mean, unless it's kind of something. And I don't use... Again, I'm kind of putting this out there so I might be able to get confirmation on the floor. When Tuan had that king 9 hand, he didn't show it to the whole table?
I did not see him turn it over. I was paying attention for that. I was looking at it to see if he did.
That's incredible if he did, just to see, I mean, what kind of hand gets hand, and that's a real rarity. That's
right.
Once a year thing.
When I get my hands in there in an all-in situation, I don't turn it over. I mean, unless I have a great hand, something that I think the person's like way under.
Yeah.
You know, an underdog, I'll turn it up. But otherwise, I don't really turn it up either.
Ken Berg, he's got pocket aces. He's raised to 400. He gets called by Hassan in seat 4 with Jack 10 of hearts. And Pat's in there with 8-9 of clubs. And Pat's picked up top pair. But Pat's he's gotten out of these hands, though. And Hassan calls, and Pat calls with top pair. Ken's in the head with the over pair. Oh, the turn's a 9. Pat's hit trip 9s. He checks it. And Ken checks the aces, and Hassan checks right behind him. River's a deuce. Now, Ken's put himself in a situation where he has to call this bet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $1,000 bet, and Ken is going to call.
Let's see if Ken shows his cards. People always like to show aces.
Nope.
No, he doesn't.
Pat's going to take down the pot. And, tricky Hassan, he took the free card there. Obviously, he's not going to bet in there when he doesn't have a 9. And if an 8 fell off, he would have had the winning hand with the Jack 10. You got to think that Tuan is, again, that's like one of these, that's a very, very rare beat. I've seen him play upwards of when the 2,000 to 4,000 game is going. So that's a huge game. Obviously, it's bigger than this game, but still, that's a rough beat to take. You wonder how he's going to bounce back. Yosha's raised blind?
That's what someone said, but I don't think they would do that.
I can see he's got an ace. He's got ace 9. And he's picked up top pair. Ace, deuce, 5.
6.
And he has checked the ace. And Tuan is going to bet here. Tuan is betting in a position as a bluff. Looks like 600. Bruce makes the call with king deuce. And let's see if Yosha's going to check raise here. And he is. Looks like 2,500. Oh, maybe even more than that. 3,000 total. And everyone gets out.
Love is love. Love is love, Joe.
What is the Bartgasm scale? Bart?
Oh, I don't know.
So we have a question here on 2+2 about the bad beat jackpot because Twan didn't turn it over. If it did qualify, Twan would have turned it over. They would have got it, but it wasn't going to qualify. Oh, if he caught the 9, yeah, the king kicked.
Would the king have played for 4 9s? There was the king.
Yeah, would have. So he would have. If the 9 came on the river, I'm sure he would have turned it over and they would have got it.
Well, I think that you would have got a 10.0 on the Bartgasm scale there because I would have yelled jackpot, jackpot, and you wonder if you would have known. 'Cause these guys don't play.
They don't play
games.
jackpot. Yeah.
Yeah.
12.
12. Did you look? Of course I looked.
Seat 6 is raised here with pocket 10s. And we are getting word that Yosh has been putting out 3 chips blind? He's been putting up 3 chips blind, I guess, to get action in the game. So he's raised
The
blind.
straddling's not working.
Okay, Bruce.
And this time he's gonna muck.
Can't mess around with you. You don't ever fold. He looks serious. Well, it's not that part of it.
Wow. Oh, and someone here, of course,
Money in the pot, he doesn't give it up.
Kev Math, who's been with us since the start, said that there was a hand in the 30-60 game where aces full of 10s versus quads went through there, and the 30-60 was not a jackpot hand game at the time. And I believe that that was during the time that we did Table Talk, so we weren't in here
I
during that time.
remember that hand.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about it, but it was actually during the Table Talk portion of the show. So there you go.
Watch any of the free broadcasts?
Loy raised there, and everyone threw it away. Boy, Loy has not played a lot of hands here tonight at all.
I don't have any spare time. I'm busy.
Button moves over to Pat. And there's going to be a straddle there by Yosh. 200 to call.
8.
Tim Fan's going to make it 800 to go. 9-10 of hearts. And he's going to take it down.
Isn't this fun?
Well, the pre-flop raising has not really been out of line at all in this game. I mean, we're talking usually 3 to 4 to 5 times, whatever the blind is.
The amount. Some of the hands have been a little wacky.
Right.
But
Yeah, the amount of the raises. But, you know, we saw sometimes in our 200 game, it just gets crazy with raising to 75. And the
Right.
line is $5 in the
Uh-huh.
big blind. Yeah.
Nice fold. Which one?
Oh, you had the queens on.
Well, you had
300.
Oh, it's a nice fold, I said.
Seat 6 is going to raise here to 300.
You got queen jack.
And Pat's in there with pocket 9s. Bruce Parker raised it up with queen 10.
What do you hit?
3 players.
Well, that means jack.
Here we go. Ace 5 jack.
And it says...
But checked around. Turns a 6.
They can't have any more money.
Loy has the best hand here. Checked around again.
Oh, I had enough.
The river's a 4.
Hand against you or against him?
Oh, yeah, no, you.
Both you guys. You guys sucked out.
Loy's going to bet 500. Look at that, Patrick. Come on.
I don't think the wine's working this time. Yosh needs to buy the whole table some coffee and some cola. 7 and 7 on 2+2. Wanted to thank me. It says, Shirley, mucho thank you for your journal. You got him through some boring meetings today. That would be my journal on my website, Poker Babes. Thank you. I'm glad I could help.
Was it the words or the pictures?
My journal only has the one page on. I mean, the one picture on it.
Oh.
Well, if you go back, it has some.
Tim Fan has raised here. 900 with king 10 of hearts. And he's going to take it down. Here we're going to look at another chip count. Tim is still up in the lead there. And there's 100,000 total on the table, and Yosh, I think he won maybe 4,000 or 5,000 off of Tuan in that hand. Because Yosh, like you said, he didn't necessarily have them all covered.
Right, he didn't have all kinds of chips. Tim's still sitting, pretty much where he was. I mean, he was at 27 and went to 24, now at 26. But he is definitely the big winner. I think Bruce is not far behind.
Seat 6 straddled here, and we've got a lot of callers. Tuan needs to show us his cards there in seat 5. 5-way action means it's a $1,000 pot. Got checked around. Turn is an ace.
He has my least favorite hand, 10-5.
Got checked around on the turn, and the river's a 7. Looks like Hassan just caught the river for the best hand. And he's going to take it down there with a pair of 7s.
Sevens. Pair of sevens.
Suck down the river. One, two, three kings.
I haven't won anything.
Live straddle.
Button now, Hassan Habib there in seat 4. Seat 7 straddled Frank Hong. And we get 3-way action, $600 pot. And Hassan's flop top 2. And he's going to bet 200 and he's going to take it down. Not a lot of talking on this table either, Shirley. Seems like these guys are real serious. Well,
yeah.
Tens of thousands of dollars at risk.
Like when you call me, my wife knows you call me. I have the sting. The sting music as your I got patted. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na.
Fold actions over to the Kenny Burke. Mr. Chicken, he folds. Mr. Cooper Chicken. Juan's limps in on the button.
No, him.
I like Juan the bad.
Juan might be losing it here.
King 8
oh, he has
offsuit.
King 8. Okay, I thought he had Deuce 5.
Well, he flops a king.
Not
Flops
just a
2
king.
pair.
Yeah.
This is the best, Frank.
And Frank has top pair as well. But Bruce bets. And let's see what happened here. Did Frank just smooth call or did he raise? Frank raised to 400, so a $100 bet. A raise there by Frank, and Tuan calls with top 2. Turn is an ace. And he's going to move all in here for his remaining, looks like 8 or 900. And Tuan's going to take it down there with kings and 8s. So Tuan's playing on the short stack right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
No, I like Juan. We're going to change it.
Again, if you go to pokerblue.com, you can play 4 hours of any limit hold'em game, 1, 2, or higher, or any no-limit game, and qualify for the weekly Sunday free roll, big, fat weekly free roll. Sometimes it's as little as 50 players playing that free roll, and first prize is your option between a couple different WPT main events, 2006 World Series of Poker, or coming and playing in the whale game, cash game here right now. Big fat weekly free roll.
Raise. 1,000 more.
Tim is going to raise out of the blind to 1,000. He's got ace queen offsuit. And he's going to take it down.
get this for you.
You taking your blind set?
Any hard but that hard. You don't have to do all this shit.
And again, join us tomorrow night for Live Bike for our ladies' night. I'm going to try to do a $200 no limit game. If that doesn't go, it's going to be a $100 game.
See, I don't know if I'll make it because I came in on Monday to work for David, so I wasn't really going to plan on coming into work tomorrow.
Come on,
If I
Shirley. Those
decide to
games are
come into
week
work-
tight. I mean, you can look at it as an investment. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come in if players are giving money away?
Yes, sir.
Plus, you can show off your stuff. Come on.
So you can rag on me.
Well, there will be a lot of that going on.
I know
as
there
well.
will be.
Colin with King 10 offsuit.
I don't usually call with it. I'll raise with it though.
Seat 6 is bet here. And Tuan is going to check raise with an open-ended straight draw. He's going to check raise all in. And Bruce has overcards on a gut shot. It's check raise to 1900. And Bruce makes the call. And Loy's going to
Loy's
fold
done,
his
and Loy
ace-4.
has the best hand. Pair of fours.
Turns a deuce. And the river is an 8, and Tuan gets
Tuan
there.
gets there.
But look at this. Jack 10's got a higher straight.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Yeah. Wow. Now
I
Tuan can
missed
buy
out for
in
a
for
second.
10,000. And he's just getting killed here tonight. Just doesn't look like anything's happening for him. Getting unlucky. Well, we've all been there before.
Hmm. But I mean, it's a lot of money. $10,000 is a lot of money. But for this game, it's only 2 buy-ins. It's not, it's not outrageous. If he rebuys for $10,000
No, it's not
right now,
outrageous.
and doubles through, he's even.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of this rebuy structure, that you can always double through or get your money back in one hand.
4.
And, boy, Bruce Barker's done pretty well tonight.
Yes, he has.
$400 raise there by Frank. Ace, deuce of diamonds. Yosha's going to call. Yosha's got 8-9 offsuit. Yosha flops top pair.
8.
See how he plays it. Looks like he's going to bet.
Call the 8.
And actually, Frank bet 800, and Yosh looks like he's check raised. And Frank has made the call with ace deuce. Wow. Yosh check raises, and Frank makes the call. The turn's a 6. I think it's about a $4,000 or $5,000 pot now. Yosh check raised 2,000 on the flop, and he bets 2,000 here. Frank mucks.
Okay.
Yosh takes it down. Surprised to see that Frank called there. Maybe he wanted to see what Yosh was going to do on the turn. He did have position.
No, I gotta wait 10 minutes. Is it 10 minutes delayed? Yeah. I'll wait. I'll call in 10 minutes.
Collection card.
You want to post, Kenny? You want to post?
Yeah, I post.
Okay.
The button there is in seat 2. Bruce is, Pat posted looks like behind. He checks his post.
6.
Loy is going to raise here, $600. And he's got ace rag, and I'm sure he's just trying to pick up the limpers and the post. I mean, he's tight image, and that's what he
And
does.
he did,
There was a lot
yeah.
of dead money in there, and that's a move. He knows there aren't going to be a lot of people that are going to call him.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it down.
No flop, no collection, correct?
You have any wine left? Yeah.
Oh, no, there was nothing there.
There wasn't enough.
No.
So again, one of the options for the Poker Blue weekly free roll is to play in this game.
Right.
And we didn't, the Poker Blue people didn't give us exactly
The
word of
specifics.
the specifics of how long you'd have to stay in the game for.
Mhm.
how many hands you'd have to play, but I'd assume that it would be something reasonable.
Yeah, because it would be pretty cool. You just sit there and
Yeah,
play
yeah.
one round.
Right, and
Someone,
then get up.
you know,
Yeah.
somebody that's normally a 3-6 player,
Right.
and they actually happen to win this. They
Right.
play one round and they pick up their,
Yeah.
post a big, small, fold,
Right,
pick
right.
up their money and
Right.
done.
That's okay with me too. Yeah. You don't see the border? The borders are different. I can always say.
Seat 7, actions on me. Frank Hong.
There it is. That's the guy that's always noticed. That's the guy we couldn't think about.
Yeah, right.
He's going to call.
We got him.
I'm making these cards. I told
Can't quite see what he has over there in seat 7. Yosh calls.
We brought in 2 setups, 2 different types of decks yesterday, better plastic
A
cards.
lot of garbage. Frank limped in with High Broadway or Queen 10.
You guys are complaining about these decks.
Picks up a second pair there and an open-ended straight draw with Queen 10.
Doesn't mean it doesn't
Paying card with 4 already.
And Yosh is called with the flush draw. Turn is a deuce. Frank bets again.
22.
Bets 2,200. And is Yosh looking to... Wait, is he going to make a move here with the flush draw? Nope. Gonna lay it down. He always goes into deep thought, Shirley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's really thinking about that one.
135,
And
155, 20 for
Frank
over
takes
here.
it down there.
Yes, 24 over here.
For the. You lost money on the deal, right?
Let me deal the handout. Finish your big blind, okay?
Button now is in seat 5.
Thank you.
And Pat's going to come in and raise with pocket 10s. He's going to make it 300 to go. Swan calls with Queen 7.
300.
Bruce Barker's got Ace Jack of clubs. He calls. And Frank Hong is in there, so we got $1,200 pot. Ooh, set of 10s. And Jack 9 flops a straight. Oh, this is going to be another one. Patrick's going to bet
Looks like 1,500.
1,500. I don't think he has that much money. But all the money's probably going to go in here. Let's see what Frank does with the Jack 9. $1,500 bet. And what did Frank do here? I think he check raised 5,000.
He put a 5,000
Yep.
chip out there.
So who wants to play that game with Frank and
4,000, so it's 4,000 total. Yeah. I actually like the play there by Frank because Pat really hasn't bet. He wouldn't necessarily bet with Ace King like that. You can't. And he's got a monster. And wouldn't be surprised to see him move all in here. $4,000 check raise. And he makes the call, it looks like. Is that right? He calls?
No.
Oh, now he's moved all in.
All the chips get in there.
Okay.
All right.
So here we go. That's about an $8,000 or $9,000 pot. Are they going to do a deal here? No. Turns a 6. Rivers a 6. Full House is going to take it down. Wow. And let's see if Frank shows the hand.
I don't know if he has him face up. I think he already had him face up.
Oh. Yeah,
yes,
he does.
he did have him face up before the river card even came
Set
out. He had
over
him.
flopped straight.
But like I said, those are the times that I usually do turn my hand, face up. I have the nut straight. Okay, I'll turn it up.
It was $7,400 that Frank just paid. That paid Pat. So that was like a $14,000 pot, 14 or 15,000. Yeah, 7,400
So-
to 5,000. Wow.
$15,000 pot.
Yeah, one of the biggest of the night there.
Either likely you can win it twice. If you're the dog, it's not likely you can win it twice.
And Frank's pulled out another $5,000 chip.
If you're the dog, you can draw out. You can random.
Half the dog, you don't want to run it twice?
If I'm a dog, I'll run it twice.
Of course, you have a
If I'm
shot
a dog, I might try my chance to increase to get some of the money back.
Yeah.
If I'm a dog, I want to run it twice.
But the odds are the same, right? Yeah, odds are odds, of course. In the end, it makes no difference. Yeah. But for the next hand, it makes a big difference. It just sort of minimizes those bets.
And Percula on 2+2 asks, what's the deal with rebuying in this game? Can you bring your stack back up to 5,000 if you're not down the felt? Or basically, that's the essence of his question. And I think you might be able to under 2,500, but actually, I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure.
You already checked?
And they seem to kind of change it sometimes as they go along. So
Yeah, well, I'm sure they have rules to it. We just don't know the specifics. I mean, we know they can buy in for 5 and then 5 and then 10 and then 20.
I think you might have to go bust though, possibly. Now Yosh has just picked up the straight. He had ace king, he checked the flop, jack on the turn.
700.
And he bet 700. Doesn't look like anyone can call though. And he takes it down. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like we're totally in the dark. We try to keep updated, but sometimes these things change. I mean, that's why, part of the reason why some people say, well, why can't you keep an updated schedule? Because it's kind of on the fly. I mean, if the game doesn't go, it doesn't go.
Right.
You know, it's reality poker is what it is. It's a cash game.
Mm-hmm.
You run it twice, you'll get to play another hand.
But I now that I think of it, I don't think that anyone has kind of done an add-on. But then thinking back to the first week that they did that, I remember that Yosh offered it to somebody, but I haven't. So I don't know if it's allowed and people just don't do it, or what.
6-5 for a straight. Set of sevens and eights.
Limped around here. 6-way action.
7 players.
7-way action, actually. A couple people have aces here. Ace 6-7 on the flop.
They both have the same hand, ace 8.
Ace 8. Ken Berg and Tuan. And Bruce Parker calls a 7-8. $400 bet by Tuan. And Ken Berg check call with the ace 8. And Hassan, he's got 5-6. He's going to get away from it. Turn is a king. Tuan's going to continue to bet here with the ace.
15.
Bets 1,500. Look at that. Ken gets
Ken
away
rough.
from it.
Tuan takes down.
Yeah.
So on all the websites you play on, do you play as live at BK Bar?
I try to say some sort of version of live. It's supposed to be live at the bike bar, but usually you don't get that many characters. So
Right.
on PokerStars, I think it's live
At BK Bar.
at BK Bar.
Mm-hmm.
On the Party Network, it's live bike bar. Poker Blue, it's live bike bar. Or bike live BK bar. Anyways, we got a chip count here.
exactly.
The Yosh has really come through. He's up to 16,000. I think he's up, honestly, over 10,000 for the night. And Bruce there, he's at 9,000, so he's having a good little night.
So if you're a dog, you don't.
And Tuan, of course, is down probably
That's what I'm saying.
about 10 or 10,000 or so.
You're out right away, then you know.
Hassan has raised here with pocket aces, and he gets re-raised by Frank Wong with pocket 5s. Tim Fan calls with pocket 6s, and Pat's in the hand. And let's see what Hassan does. Is he going to re-raise? He's going to re-raise. 1,000 more. We can't see what Patrick has.
How dumb are you? What are you calling for? I'm calling for the action. you double.
Patrick's got 8-7 suited.
Tim's
He's probably
giving him a
gonna
hard
knock-
time for folding.
Yeah, and Hassan's
He
got
wanted
aces.
him to call so he could call with his 6s. And
All right, thanks.
There you go.
Thank you, everyone.
So we've seen aces a lot tonight.
C2 is going to miss right now, babe.
so I was asking you, one of the players is asking me about my screen name Siren, which I play on Party, PokerStars, and Absolute as that, and then Poker Babe on the other ones.
Normally you will see me multi-tabling 5, 10, and 10, 20 stud high-low games if you really want to find me on the internet, usually after 10 o'clock Pacific time. And I know a couple people have popped in on
I used to have a lot of people come and watch me on PokerStars, but I've really cut back on playing on that site. It's just the tournaments were taking, too much time. I don't have 3 hours, 5 hours to commit to it, and so I just been playing the live action, the 2550. I can jump on for an hour,
Hassan raised here. Ace Jack of clubs. He made it 300 to go. Tuan called 7-8 off suit. Bruce Parker called Jack 3 suited. Frank is in there with Deuce 4 clubs. And Kenny Berg 7-9 of hearts. $1,800 pot 6 ways. King 5-7. Looks like Tuan might have the best hand here. Ken actually has him out-kicked right now. The turn is a 5, and now it would be a chop pot if it stays down to the river. Gets checked around. And the river's a 7, so now both of them fill up, Tuan and Ken Berg. And Ken's going to bet here. He bets 400. Looks like Tuan's going to push all in. Pushes all in, chop this baby up. Be nice to have pocket kings or quad 5s right now, though, right?
Right.
I don't really know what Ken's thinking about there.
Well, Tuan could have 7 king, too.
That's right.
Pocket king, 7 king, or pocket
King 7 would do
5s.
it too, yeah.
He has to think,
$5,000
do I call 5,000
bet.
to get half of this pot back?
$5,000 bet there. Tuan moves all in. Yeah, it's one of those times when, there's a good chance it's a chop pot, but do I want to commit all that money?
Right, just to get
And
half.
What did he do here? Yeah, he did make the call. Okay. He did make the call. As he's enjoying some filet mignon and lobster behind him.
I didn't even know we had lobster.
There you go. Seat 1. Surf and turf.
I don't know how many points they would take from your card on that one.
I think that might be a special thing to
You
certain
think
nights
that
at
we
Live
can
the
use it
Bike
with
and,
our, yeah,
and the high limit games.
with our player's card?
Well, of course, me being from Boston and spending a lot of time in Maine, I don't necessarily know if I'd be all into eating lobster. California lobster. I'm sure it's good.
I'm sure some places in California have it shipped from.
Yeah, but it's never going to be fresh, like off the boat, like they used to get it. $400 raise there by Tim Fan. Patrick's going to call.
So
Queen
you
10
used to
against
go out
King
there
Queen.
and fish, and then just take it home and cook it?
I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
No one has anything here. 8-7 deuce. Turn is an 8. Check again. River's a deuce. And now Pat's good with the king
still
high.
has the best hand.
Pat's good with the king high. My grandfather used to own a Chevrolet dealership in the Boston area in Malden called Hanson Chevrolet, and at that time it was called Davidson Chevrolet. So anyone out there in the area who was alive in the 70s and the 60s, he used to live in a town called Nahant in Massachusetts, which was a lobster fisherman's town. And what he would do was, he was so good with engines, he would fix the lobstermen's boats when they broke down. Wouldn't charge them anything, and we would get lobster in exchange for it.
It was a fair trade.
Yeah. And he didn't even like lobster, so he should just gave it to my dad, and we'd eat it. Because I wasn't always over his house. But it's buoys. It's actually like a cage. It's not necessarily fishing for it. You put lobster buoys down, and it's a cage to pull them up. Boy, did those
Wasn't there a
guys-
Seinfeld episode on
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
exactly. Boy, did those guys stink when they came out of the water, I gotta tell you. Really bad. Queen 7 deuce here. Rainbow boy. Ken Berg bets here. Gonna bet 500. And Yosh is gonna call here with bottom pair. I think he's setting a play up here. Can he steal it away from Ken? Turn is a 9. Ken's gonna continue to bet though.
800.
Looks like 800. Oh, he might have been calling to see what Ken did there on the turn. It looks like he's going to get away from it. And he does. So you used to have a lot of people come and watch you?
On
Online?
PokerStars, oh yeah. During the tournament, I would probably have about, like, just probably 8 people chatting with me, and who knows,
Yep.
people that were just watching, not wanting to disturb me. And that was during all the tournaments. PokerStars has that great feature, find a player, so. But I'm really hardly around on that one. You can always find me on the Omaha tournament.
That's right. You can find both of us on the Omaha tournament.
That's right, now that you have Sundays off.
Of course, I finished ahead of Shirley.
He
on
did this
Sunday.
week.
And I beat her heads
We'll
up.
keep we'll keep track. We'll keep track. That's a small sample size, Bart. I won't get knocked out of a tournament with deuce 3, 5, 9. So I think I might outlast you next time around. We'll bet $5 on it if you want. You want to do it outlast?
5-way action here. Living
Last
around.
longer.
9-3-9 here on the flop. And Hassan has got the nut flush draw. And he's going to bet. He's going to bet 300. Frank quickly calls. So Frank is called here with the ace-queen. Black ace-queen. Turns a 4. Check, check. And the river's a 6. See, Frank bluffs at it now. Well, check. And Hassan does not bet. Ace-queen is good. Hassan shows the broken flush draw. There's Ramsey. Live at the bike favorite. Yeah, so you can find me either at live at BK Bard or live Bike Bard on the Party Network, whatever. Live Bike Bard is the one that I use now.
I haven't played on Party in a long time. I should jump over there and play on some Omaha games. I'm really, itching to play Omaha.
Well, they have a lot of good game selection.
Right. Yeah, that's the best thing about that site.
Yeah.
Each one has their, pros and cons. PokerStars or tournaments.
Ken Berg raised here with 5-6 suited, and Loy came over the top of ace queen, and Loy's going to take it down. Well, PokerStars has 30-60 high-low, and sometimes they'll have 5 and 10 and 10-20, and I sometimes will play on Stars in the high-low games at live at BK Bart.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I'm over at the other one, though.
Or at Poker Blue, trying to get your free hours in your
I do
hours for the pre-roll.
Yeah, I do play Limit Hold'em on Poker Blue as well.
Oh, I forgot about one. On Paradise, I play under Bite Me.
I haven't been on that site in a while.
Yeah.
Ace Queen raises here to 500. Loy has the same hand. Pat's going to muck. Now this time Ken has pocket 6s. And he's not even going to play the 6s. Wow. Limp and a fold.
And what Yo said is who invited you?
I think he wants to play Omaha, though. Omaha what? He wants to play Omaha Haterbug.
Club?
Omaha.
Yeah.
Haterbug. You can have my seat whenever you want.
Got a couple people in those stud high-low games that are regulars that know me. They'll come in and they say, "Hey, douchebag, what's up?"
They do?
Yeah. good show tonight, douchebag.
I see. I have nice fans. They're nice to me. If they called me douchebag, oh man.
I think it just comes with the territory.
What? You being you or you being a guy?
Me being a guy. And Bruce Parker has made a re-raise here, it looks like. 900 with 10-4 suited. The original raiser, I believe... Oh, it was limped around, and Bruce Parker raised it to 900. And Yosha's called with pocket 6s, and Tuan calls with king 10, and Bruce can't like his hand now. He's in real bad shape.
I don't think he liked it at all.
Yeah. Real bad shape.
He was trying to make a move.
Ace 3-9, if he follows up with a bet here, He could take it down. No, he's not going to fire into
Yeah,
it.
we saw he didn't do that
He's
last
picked up a
time.
flush draw now, but Tuan's got second pair. I mean, it's the same. Oh, and he's going to take a
He's
free
gonna
card
take the
here.
free card.
And the river's a king, and Tuan's made trips. Same thing applies to this game as in the low-limit games. If I see somebody bring it in with garbage hands, why not bet a flop with an ace in it in position?
Right.
He would have taken it down. And Tuan is going to bet 2,000. And is he going to get paid off? This is the question. He didn't bet the turn, and now, remember, Yosh paid him off last time, and Tuan has a king this time. It's a $2,000
Yeah, but this
bet.
is a little harder to pay off. There's ace, 9
Yeah.
kings out there.
Can't beat the ace, can't beat the 9.
Any, other overpair 8s.
Yep. It would have to be a stone-cold bluff.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's his reputation.
Right.
$2,000 bet here on the river. And this time Yosh looks like he's going to wisely lay it down. Here you go. Come on, Shirley. You're going to play tomorrow, right?
Oh, I don't know, Bart.
Wow.
I have so much work. My time's just getting stretched more thin at every moment.
Whine.
I'm not whining. I'm just stating a fact. I will try to get my work done.
Well, I don't
during
have,
the day.
3 kids? 2 kids?
I have 2 kids.
It's probably tough.
2 kids. I have a lot of stuff to catch up on my website, some emails to answer, I have 2 interviews to do.
Loy raised here with pocket 8s, and Tuan makes a smooth call with pocket 9s. So he's in real good shape here. This is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Tuan has position on Loy. Set of 9s.
And he's just wishing that Loy had an ace. But he
Loy
doesn't.
checks. Tuan bets. $700. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see if ace king against
Right,
something like
against
this.
the 9.
I think Tuan shows the set.
Yeah.
Wow. 1 point. You have to buy 1 point.
I don't know what it is about Tuan. I just like him so much. Just the way he sits there, he's smiling, and I know him too, and he's just a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems pretty nice.
Yeah.
1 point. You have to buy 1 point.
Nice straddle.
He had 2 kings. I have 2 aces. Yep. Yeah. Lucky plus ace.
It's our last hand here.
800.
Deep Down Truth says, so Bart likes his lobster and his women fresh off the boat. Quote,
Oh,
unquote.
that's a good one.
You guys spike 1 out.
Tuan Ray takes it down.
Takes it down. And are we going to do one more hand, or that's going to be it? I guess that's going to be it. Well, we want to thank... Oh, we're going to do one more. Okay.
That was an uneventful hand.
Yep.
You can't finish it off like that.
Yep. So we saw this game, there were some interesting hands. It moved a little bit slow.
Yeah. Every about 25 minutes, we
Yeah.
had something really exciting happen.
Tuan's going to bring it in for a raise here. 400 with ace 10. Bruce Parker calls with jack 10. Frank's got 7-8. He calls. Tim Fan's in here. All right,
We
now
got a
gotta
family
get on
pot.
top. Yeah, seat 9 needs to show us his cards again. Ooh,
There we
seat
go.
9's got ace king.
He just calls.
Yeah. Wow. And we've got 1, 2,
We
3,
have
4, 5.
action. 6
Six-way action.
players.
$2,400 pot. Here we go. 6, 7, 9. We've got an 8, 9. We've got 7, 8. So 2 people have a pair and an open-ended straight draw. And Tuan's going to bet with a gut shot. He bets 1,200 with ace 10.
And his gut shot isn't good. If he gets there, Bruce has a better gut shot straight draw.
Yep.
He has the 10 jack.
Yep. It's a $1,200 bet into a $2,400 pot. We have a myriad of straight draws all over the place here. $3,600 now. $1,200 to call. And Frank is going to, looks like he's going to call.
Tim will probably
Wow.
calls.
$6,000 pot now.
Tuan needs the ace.
$6,000 pot here. Tuan, Tim Fan, and Frank.
Right. His 10's not good. He needs an ace.
And the turn is a 10, and two players make it straight. And like you said, Bruce Parker would have made the nut straight. Did he have? Oh, excuse me.
No,
he would
he
have
had
made top
10
pair. Yeah. And Twan's going to bet here $6,000 pot.
3,000.
He bets 3,000. It's a $9,000 pot there. It's a 4-liner to a straight. Frank and Tim Fan both have the straights. And it looks like Frank's going to move all in for the rest of his money. So the pot now,
And once again, I
It's
mean,
about-
this is a tough decision.
it's about 12,000. Frank is all in for 500 more, so it's a $12,500 pot.
And it's a tough, like I said, you know, this is the same situation. It's a tough decision for Tim.
Well, yeah, but Tim
He has
doesn't
to
have
make
anybody
a
that...
call to get
Yeah.
half the pot.
But, I mean, you'd have to specifically put somebody on Jack 8 here, like Twan. I mean, he raised pre-flop. He bet the flop. Now he's bet the turn. And it looks like he is either going to call or re-raise here. I believe he raised. 15... No, it looks like he just called, and now Twan is out. Actually, just the $500 extra makes Twan go out, and this one's going to get chopped up. Biggest pot of the night, actually. Chopped up. River's a jack. Chop it up. That's going to do it for us tonight. Well, quite an eventful night. As always, sponsored by Poker Blue. You can go to pokerblue.com, play in any limit game at 1, 2, or higher for 4 hours in a week, and you get qualified for the Big Fat Weekly Free Roll on Sundays. If you win that, get your option of going to several different WPT main events, as well as next year's World Series of Poker main event with travel expenses, or you can come and play on Live at the Bike in the Wednesday night whale game. They'll get you a double buy-in, I believe, for $10,000. Playing the cash game. Stick around tomorrow night for our ladies' night, either $200 or $100 no limit hold'em. Hopefully, we'll see Shirley in action.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yep. Maybe.
Maybe. Well, I guess that's the best we can do for you.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I
Well,
can't say yes for sure.
Anyways, for everyone here at the booth and for Shirley Rosario, good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.